Orange tea.
Hey, everybody. I'm Mike.
I'm Bob.
I'm Tim.
Welcome, everybody. It is Whiskey Wednesday. Board Game Rundown. Who's in the house? How are we all doing tonight?
I am glad to be here, like every week.
Just happy to be here.
Indeed. We got a bunch of people that beat us here. Let's just say hi to all of them. Andrew's rushing us. He says, let's go. We're
Let's
late.
go. We are late.
Nick,
Oh,
we did put out some empty. We put out some snacks for the empty room, though, Nick. The chiropractor is here / game designer / like 70 other things.
Yeah, seriously.
Arm fixer-upper.
That as well.
Oh my gosh. That I hope all the swearing you do is at that insert assembly and not at us.
Wow.
Because I know that's what I do when I assemble inserts like that.
Oh, huh.
The Rossies are here for the snacks, as am I. Definitely here for the snacks.
I'm assuming Dave's talking about a mechanic versus a mechanism.
And maybe you noticed the thumbnail. I honestly, I did that on purpose. In the thumbnail,
You
I
troll.
put mechanic parentheses mechanisms ? Because to me they're interchangeable. I say them interchangeable. You can do a poll and you'll get a different answer that will come to the forefront each time. Like the community is very split on that word, and I'm just like, I'll be split. I don't care. They're interchangeable.
So I mean, the thing is it's like, look, you know what we mean. If I call it a mechanism in a game versus a mechanic, you know what I'm talking about.
I would agree, though.
So is like a mechanic a person and a mechanism's a thing?
That's probably why I prefer mechanism, because I'm in the auto industry. So mechanic, I think that
person.
So I do prefer mechanism, but sometimes I just go with whatever's less syllables because it's faster to get out of my mouth.
That's
why I
what
shorten
said.
People's names all the time. Yes, I knew that was coming.
You're
welcome. I was going to start with a double, but I think this is more than a double.
That's something.
That's like
Steph is joining us this
fingers.
morning.
It's all the fingers.
Jazz is with us this evening. Wayne is with us. Thank you all for joining us. And even Sean has a comment up. Mechanic is an aspect. And
yeah, doodad.
Doodad.
I think that's the scientific term, though. That's what you get when you go to somebody with all that education.
Yeah, it's divisive every time. I've really seen them both thrown around. It depends what circle you're in. So I intentionally used. So what's funny is, knowing this, I used both on the thumbnail. Then in the description of the video, I used both again in different sentences. I literally went back and forth 4 different times. Because I don't care. It's whatever you prefer. If you say you're going to get mad at me for saying mechanic, then all right, I'll call it a mechanism. Oh, you hate mechanisms? It's mechanics then.
You troll.
It's whatever. Yeah. But we got a spicy topic tonight, which is why we're talking about mechanisms / mechanics that don't work on cars. And it's the mechanisms that we hate in games. And I think this is going to end up kind of turning into genres and maybe types of games and not just core mechanics. I had a couple that got snuck in here, but I definitely have core mechanics that I hate.
Or do you use it core mechanisms that you hate?
That's next week, Tim. Yeah, it's like, I agree. Like, I get everybody's points. Like, there's just so many. Like, nobody's
dying on.
Nobody's wrong. Yeah, I won't argue with you because I think everybody's has a fair point about it. It really is both ways.
I mean,
but it should be a fun topic.
You know what though? It's funny because we're going to talk about these things that I don't like in games, and there's definitely exceptions to every one of these rules except for
Sure.
one. My number one, flat out, there's no exception to the rule.
Agreed.
Yeah, I do. My
Tim, if you have my number one, I'm gonna be so mad.
I don't think we do, but I'd love it if we did. It would be
hilarious.
It would be so funny, Bob, if we had the same one.
Oh, Dave, I knew it was going to be brought up. I was welcoming it. I was encouraging it with my intentionally confusing thumbnail and description, using both.
Looks like, how can this be more clickbaity?
Dave, you can try to guess. I will sit stone faced if you want to type it in, and I will acknowledge you when I get to my number one if you're correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Evan, I know Bob is probably going to have that on his top 5. I'm just going to spoil it.
Oh yeah.
I love social deduction. I love bluffing people. It's just it's a fun social interaction for me.
And Dave, if you guess mine, I won't do what I do to Mike when in our side chat, and he tries to guess games on my list or tell me like, oh, you should mention this on your list. And it's like, well, now it's not on my list. I don't want it spoiled because I'm stubborn and cranky like that. Don't you tell me what to do. I do what I want, when I want, and I'll do it on the Whiskey Wednesday list. On my time, though, because I want to, not because you told me to.
And he's spoiling it. Yeah, and then he's spoiling it for the 2 people that already knew anyway. So it's not even a spoiler. Like,
well, you don't know, though. You don't know.
I do.
You don't know what my number one is.
Yeah, you're right.
Get off my list.
I can't like immediately think of some for Tim.
Because here's the thing is I like everything.
Yeah, I know, Tim. You rate every game at 10.
Exactly.
That's right.
I like a lot of games as well, but there's definitely one particular genre that I'm known for not really being super fond of. But the thing is that ones that still could come along, blow me away. There was one recently I did enjoy. So there are exceptions, except for my number 5.
Well, before we dive into the list like hardcore though, real quick, I just want to mention some stuff that is either happening on crowdfunding, coming to crowdfunding, or just things that I'm excited to talk about that aren't on this list right at the moment. So I want to skew positive really hard before we skew negative.
Yes,
sure.
First of all, we just did a video for a game called Locked Out. It's like a $10 or $15 game on Kickstarter right now. I think it's got it's already met its funding goal. This is a game you can play on your lunch break, with a couple of people with Teach. Bob and Spencer and I had a great time playing. Not to speak for you, Bob, but I feel like we all had a really good time playing that game. You're basically like pirates that have stolen a ship, but the thing is you get on the ship and it's got like a safety protocol that goes, nope, the ship is going to go and dock and like safe harbor. And everybody is now trying to scramble to find the access cards to get to the computer to then redirect the ship. So these cards commandeer the ship. So these cards that you're going to basically popping around from room to room. You're going to grab some cards, and these cards they could be like passkeys, which will give you other access to other levels. They could be resources, so you can stave off sort of the game timer because you got 3 different resources that can be running down. And but the thing is that the game kind of plays 2 ways. If one of those resources runs down, and we haven't redirected the ship, then you want to have the least amount of points because all those access cards and resources and everything that you're finding are worth money at the end of the game. And they've got point values on there. So you either, if that gets redirected or if you don't get to redirect the ship and you run out of resources, you want to have the least amount of loot on you. Cause you're like, I was the most cooperative, and I was trying to help. And also you're the least guilty because you're the pirate caught with the least amount of booty. So that's how you can win. Or if you can get into that purple computer room, get there, you redirect ship, ends the game instantly, most points wins. So like we played it a couple times and I went like 2 different ways And both strategies felt very viable with some really kind of some exciting twists at the end. So anyways, yeah, kind of like we're thinking, Andrew, a little, definitely a lot lighter and faster, just, but anyways, really fun game, cool vibe. We really enjoyed it. Kind of came out of nowhere for me. So we got a preview video up for it now. We didn't get paid for that or anything. A game that we are getting paid to cover, but it is legitimately maybe my favorite game I played this year. It's a game coming out from these guys called Invicta. Their publishing company is called Invicta Rex, and this is a World War II Mediterranean theater game, and it is called A Song for War. And this game is epic. We played for 7 hours. It felt like I played for 1 hour. This game was so crazy, big, shifting swings in the battle.
Big swings.
Oh my gosh. It rewards bold actions. Super fun. You're never out of the game, even when you think you're out of the game. Yep. Oh my God, that game was so much fun.
Unique battle system. I love the resupply, buddy. How you can pick and choose where you want to resupply stuff. Like all the little units are just like little wood tiles, but they're double-sided to try to even with that, there's like, what do you say, 300 and some pieces in the game.
Yeah, there's tons of stuff in that game.
So
oh my
good.
God.
So good, though.
It is, yeah, trading shells in the Mediterranean. Oh man, and did we trade shells?
We did too.
One of the designers and his son came to South Bend and played the game with us, kind of give us a teach. And but they were just like awesome dudes anyways to kind of get and sit and hang out with them. And we talked football. We just talked about life while playing this game. And he was so knowledgeable, Chris was, of like World War II. Like these guys really love their history.
Right. I love how it's like, because like a lot of World War II games, like I did get to play this myself at Origins. And one of the guys that was on my team was talking about how he didn't think it was realistic enough because that's not how like the battle went. And it's like, well, if we just replay history, then we know who's going to win.
Yeah, that's boring.
The thing about a war game to me is like, this is where you're at this point in time. Take it any way you want to go. If Germany wants to buy an aircraft carrier, buy an aircraft carrier. You know, like why put a restriction on them? Well, they didn't have any, so you're not allowed to buy any. It's like,
yeah, that's dumb.
This is where they were at. Go from there. And like I like that.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that I just, man, it was just so much fun, Bob. It was so much fun. There were, again, just the emotional highs and lows. The day flew by and I just had the best time. I genuinely love this game. Full disclosure, we are getting paid to cover it, and that's fine. Because we would do so with enthusiasm. But like this, if this game was out today, this would be my favorite game I played this year so far. It probably is my game of the year.
As I say, and what time I say we're getting paid for it, like I saw this 2 years ago and I was extremely interested.
Yeah.
I then got to play it at Origins and I was even more interested. And that's why we reached out to talk to them. If we didn't like it, we just would have not reached out. We would have just let it go and let it do its own thing, but we liked it. We wanted to get our hands on it. We wanted to play it. So
I am super excited, and we haven't even done anything for this game yet. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this game. It's really cool. I think if you guys, obviously this is not like for people whose favorite game, or they don't like to play anything heavier than like an Everdell, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is definitely a very heavy, dudes on a map war game. That is 1,000,000% what this game is. But Bob and I cut our teeth on those kind of games. Yeah. And so like if I never even touch it and Access and Allies again, I'm fine, because Song for War would like totally scratch that itch. I feel like it's just as easy to teach, if not a little easier. I mean, Access and Allies, I guess, is kind of basic, but like I just feel like it was so straight.
I've played so many versions of it, but
Yeah.
Still, to a new person, there's a lot of like territories and a lot kind of going on. But the cool thing about this game is there's basically like 4 scenarios in the box. There's like the big massive campaign that you can start like at the very beginning, and there's like more turns. The game takes a long time. There's
1942.
That's about halfway through.
You start at 1943.
Yep, and then there's those 2 boards that flip, and then on one side is the fight
North Africa,
and then the fight for Italy. And you see a lot of the mechanisms in all the versions of the games, but like those smaller maps will highlight certain aspects and certain mechanisms, like the the hidden. I love like in Italy they have like the hidden places. So you've got these places on the map where you're putting your guys and these tokens face down, and there's all these locations on Italy because when the Allied forces landed, they didn't know where all the units and stuff were, and so you're like, oh, you went to J5, bloop, there it is, and here's all my dudes, and you're like, oh my god, yeah, like.
And you had some of that in the Mediterranean.
There's a little bit of that with the
when we were playing because of the hidden fleets, and we both had very dramatic reveals for our hidden fleets, and it was super fun. Anyways, Song for War, like really cool. Really fun. If you like war games, this one is going to be amazing. It's really good. It's really solid.
This hits Kickstarter October or November?
I think you said November.
It's TBD. I think it's going to be TBD. It's going to be later this year. Believe me, we won't shut up about it when it's coming because we want this game to fund. Because I'm really excited about it. And then the last one I'll touch on real fast is just that I'm excited. I put pictures on Discord and Facebook and stuff last night, but Road landed on my doorstep. It's a demo. It's a preview copy, right? So there's definitely some things that, it's like, hey, make sure you check the updated rules and some things like that. And that's fine. It is what it is. It's a glorious looking prototype. I mean, it's just like a step beyond prototype, but it looks great. And I'm excited to get cut my teeth on it. I'll probably start doing some solo stuff tomorrow night. If I didn't have the show tonight, I would definitely be upstairs with Rahode all out because I had it all out and I was basically doing like how you just sometimes even you do this with a Lacerda where you just set the game up, and just kind of look at it and just kind of get the
look at
so when you're reading the book, you've got something to reference and it's not so abstract.
Yeah. So last night I set it all up and then I put it back, I put it away, played some college football 25, went to bed and was like, okay, ready to go. But, Nick's, man, well, we thank him for his service because that takes courage, man.
All right.
Well, being Wednesday, gentlemen, what are you drinking?
I'm still hitting that Indiana whiskey. Ooh, that reminds me, I need to reach out to that gentleman about coming on because we're starting to fill up our guest spots. We actually need to get with the Rossies soon because I want them to come on and do games with us. I think they will be amazing. But if there are anybody watching the show that is like, hey, I think I'd be a good guest. I got a good idea for a topic. Reach out.
Yeah.
Reach out.
I wanted to, if we could real quick, go into what our guest schedule is looking like because we are really starting to pack this schedule with some pretty awesome guests.
Now, don't say the one until you've confirmed that he's going to be there because he's still a maybe, right?
His co-designer said he would confirm before so the co-designer has not confirmed.
Right.
Okay.
So I'd leave that one off just in case.
Okay. So next week we've got Andy Kim, who is the Spill designer. Yeah. And we are going to be doing top 5 under the radar games, which is always a fun
games
topic.
That need more love.
Same thing.
No, but he said need more love. We're going with need more love.
Okay. Same thing though. And then we're going to have Galen McCown on. We're going to be at CuseCon the week after that. So we will be streaming live from CuseCon.
No, we won't. I won't be there on Wednesday.
Oh, Bob and I will be there. We will be streaming. I did ask what your ETA was. I didn't get an answer. I do know
Wes and I are getting there.
Bob and I will be there.
Wes and I are getting there early AM Thursday.
On September 25th, Galen McCown will be there, who will be at CuseCon. Also, he has a game called Super Snipers, and he has a couple games coming out that are a Mint 10 series. So we're going to be talking with him September 25th. Then we have Devin Metlin, October 2nd. He is known for the Board Game Hype Group. He also has a podcast called Roll and Reflect, but specifically he has a print and play roll and write arena combat game. I think I got that right for the first time. Coming out called Montoons. It was a blast. I enjoyed Montoons a lot. And we're going to talk about that October 2nd. Speaking of Rahode.
Did you post that yet, Mike? Our playthrough on TTS?
No, not yet.
Okay. One coming.
He told me not to worry about it until I get back from CuseCon. So it's going to be
Okay.
like within a week or two of their campaign dropping.
Okay.
Speaking of Verhoed, Mr. Jeff Irving from Weathervane Games, the designer and CEO of Weathervane Games, great guy, will be joining us October 9th. There is a chance his new creative director, the Mingo West Todd, will also be on the show either October 16th or the 23rd. That is yet to be confirmed, but we know he's going to pick probably one of those dates. In the chat now is Mr. Jim Cole. He is joining us on Halloween Eve because naturally the guy drawing and designing Zombie Survival Infection should be on Whiskey Wednesday, October 30th. Then, not done, we have Mr. Seppi Yoon joining us on November 6th because Conquest Princess will be out. And then we've got a couple other guests that might be even bigger than those. So, a jam-packed schedule. I can't wait. It's only going to get crazy as the fall dawns upon us.
Very dramatic, Mike. Nice work. That's a pretty good list.
Yeah. You know that I think that list deserves people a thumbs up. Maybe a thumbs up the stream before.
I mean, if I only see one like so far from the Facebook viewers. That's
my god,
pretty disappointing. We definitely need more than that.
Yeah,
Mike, I think we got more likes before Bob came on the show.
Wow. Well, it's been fun, everybody. I guess we'll see you later.
Man.
You know, it's funny. You guys were going into Song for War, and Brandon caught it at the exact same time I did. When we have the screen share, the meeple goes right over my forehead. So it's kind of funny. Good catch. I caught it at the exact same time.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, that's going away.
Yes. Love it.
Thank you, Dave. Hey, I try to hit the thumb as soon as I launch the stream, so we should start with one automatically. So.
Yeah. Well, see, it says one on our screen, but Brandon's saying there's 8 of 14. It's a pretty good ratio. We'll take that ratio.
It doesn't. So the thumb you're seeing at the top for us, Bob, is only Facebook. That is not YouTube thumbs. So
okay,
they should have to. Yeah. So it's limited.
That's why that thumb is blue, right? Because it looks like a Facebook thumb.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So there you go. Channel news, a lot going on. And I mean, let's just not downplay this. The next 2 weeks, we're going to be at CuseCon, guys. I mean,
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
Getting pretty excited.
You know what also I'm really excited. What prototype is on its way to my house as we speak? The new Vital Lacerda Speakeasy game.
Prototype.
Prototype, baby. It's coming to Kickstarter soon.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just in time because we got that Inventions review out.
You are also going to see us talking about a goofy little party game you can pick up in Target right now called Danger the Game, because we like silly party games, and that game just lends itself to silliness.
We're gonna try to make some fun content with it. We're gonna see if we can't crack the algorithm with like short form content.
Already have. Just got to continue what we're doing. There shall be memes and reels.
Shall be memes.
So that being said, I think we're ready to talk about the 5 mechanics.
8:30. It's time to dive in.
Oh, Brandon, I would say start with Inventions. It's good. I really liked Inventions.
Ooh. Oh man, I'd say if you have Vinhos, start with that one. But I gotta play, or Anachrony.
That's not a Lacerda though.
No,
he said he wants to play a Lacerda, so you should recommend Lacerdas.
Yeah, my favorite Lacerdas was Boa.
It was hinted, but not totally implied.
What? It was directly implied. I like heavy games, but I still need to play my first Lacerda. Right. ... Give me some recommendations.
Mind Clash game.
Kanban
I'm all
is
for.
I love the theme of Kanban because you're actually working in an automotive plant and
Right.
you are building automobiles. It's
Yeah, I
a
haven't
really
played
cool
that one
theme.
yet.
I want to play Kanban. It sounds super cool.
I
That
need to
was
play
the
on Mars
first
too.
Lacerda I played. So there you go.
Anyways,
And then just pretend that Lacerda designed Anachrony. You'll be straight.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we have an all-way tie for number 1. Ooh, I hope so.
Ooh, no, doubt it. Doubt it. I know I will not have crossover with my 1 or 2. No chance.
probably not.
Yep. So there you go. That's true. It is a paradox.
It is. We are. I am a walking paradox.
They
Just ask
cancel each
anybody that
other
knows me.
out, so it makes me right.
Yeah. Oh, that's true too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Andrew did used to live that life. He was about that life.
2 seconds at a time.
All right. We got to get
Steal,
this
one
list
piece
started.
of that car every day, so that you can take it
Ooh.
home to your garage and assemble it, and then have your own
There you
vehicle.
go. Yep. You can thank Mr. Ford for the 40-hour work week. All right. Let's do this thing. We're starting with Bob's number 5. It's the mechanics wheel.
Alrighty. So my number 5 is actually in a lot of games that I really enjoy. But it's been tweaked so many times now that now the basic version of it just find annoying. I don't like it. But standard deck building, I'm going to buy a card. It's going to go to my discard pile. When my pile runs out, I'm going to shuffle it. So let's spice it up. Like After Us, put the card on top.
Wow.
Or Aeon's End, don't shuffle. Just take your discard pile and flip it straight over. Like, do something different with it. Don't just do that same basic bitch, mechanism of just doing the same. I'm going to pay these cards, buy this card, put it in my discard pile. I'm going to pay these cards, buy this card, put it in my discard pile. Boring. Spice it up a little bit. That's what I want. That's my number 5. I was like, there's still a lot of games that do that, like Clank. I really like Clank, but that boring mechanism of that.
But Clank has enough other stuff going on that's not the only thing.
Right.
So it's when that is the only thing you're doing in the game. I get it.
Yeah.
I agree with you because I played several deck builders before I played Dominion and therefore did not like Dominion because it is just the deck building.
Yeah.
The closest thing that I can think of that I still love is Shards of Infinity, except you're using your cards to attack each other. But it is still just the deck building. But I love that
there's
game.
Different stuff with it, yeah. I mean, I understand what Bob's saying, but there's I know I'm a whore for DC deck builder. I will always love it. I still love it. I'll play it at drop of a hat. But like Ascension, Shards of Infinity, very similar, like doing different things, or this kind of the same or different things, but the same way. But it does feel different. To Mike's point, it feels.
That's why I'd rather play that. What is it? The Golden Isle one, like the pirate one, where you have the boats and you're moving around. It adds a little bit more to it. It's not just the same. Draw my 5 or 7 cards. Play them to buy some more cards. They go on my discard pile, draw more cards. It's the same thing. Like, let me put the card in my hand so I can use it right away, or put it right on top so I'm drawing it. Like Taverns of Tiefenthal does that too, where you put those cards right on top. And I love that you get to see those cards right away. I love the thing about Aeon's End where, story writing, forget about that. But where you play all your cards and they go to your discard pile and you don't shuffle at all. You just take that pile and you just flip it over. So you're playing and discarding things in the order you want to draw them in next time. And I just find that super interesting. And I want more games to do different things with deck builders because the boring is boring.
If we ever did a list where it was like, did the theme or art ruin a game for you? Aeon's End could be on that list.
Yeah.
Because I don't like the theme or the art.
Oh my God.
I don't like the art. And I think that and it was mostly just the legacy stuff, but it was written like bad fan fiction and I hated it.
Yeah.
I think the box art's pretty cool.
The box art's awesome. I don't like the card art. And I know it's just it's the same artist probably, but I just don't like what they're doing with like the way they draw their characters. I just think all their characters look dumb.
I'm with you though. Like as far as deck building, give me Dune Imperium, give me Lost Ruins of Arnak.
Yeah, at least there's something else going on. Even though you can win Lost Ruins of Arnak without doing any deck building whatsoever.
You can. It's true. Mm-hmm. Give me any of all of the Clanks.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely want something else going on than just the deck building, except for
Mike,
I think
Shards of
Clank would be
Infinity.
a lot better if I could put those cards right on top of my deck.
Mike, when are we going to play Clank Legacy and not invite Bob?
We'll talk about
Let's
that.
have a Clank party.
We might talk about that later.
All right.
Okay. That's fine.
Fine, Bob can come. God, he's salty. So salty.
Yeah,
Usually,
if you get 4 of you guys that haven't played it yet, by all means, play.
Well, that's different. If it's just Mike and I playing, and we specifically are like, "Hey, Bob, Mike and I are going to go play Clank Legacy," and you're like, "What?"
Okay,
I can smell the salt from Bob's tears.
I'm going to play Anachrony, and then I'm going to play Cthulhu Wars. I finally played my copy. You know.
Okay. You know, Bob, I'd be happy for you if you got to play your copy of Cthulhu Wars.
And then he's going to play a Cubitos tournament to piss me off.
Yeah,
buddy.
With like Dan, though, who hates racing games. So it's like play with people that would be miserable to sit there.
Well, we're going to do like a bidding game at the beginning to figure out what game we're going to play. And it's probably going to be between these different racing games.
Yeah. And then Dan just keeps reminding you how it's just Couriers.
And then Spencer is going to be there, and he just ate a bunch of Jimmy John's, and he's just going to fart in Bob's face the whole time.
Dude, the smallest little the other day was so bad. I was
Sunday
have so much like
Sunday. Spencer had Bob in near tears because of the smell.
So bad. Oh my gosh, my nose is sensitive as it is, and oh my goodness.
This is all inside jokes tonight. Oh
it is.
God. Wow.
It is.
Wow. All right.
During his own.
And what's your number 2?
No, wait. Hit number 2.
Or your number 5.
There we go.
Or second.
Man, I missed something.
I went with the lowest hanging fruit.
Okay.
There it is.
Lowest hanging fruit for number 5. Roll and move. Roll and move 90% of the time is boring. We all grew up on it, right? You know, you grow up playing games in the 80s and 90s, Milton Bradley games. They're all roll and move. And you liked them at the time, but kind of like Bob with deck builders. You're like, you've seen that you can do roll and move and have interesting things around it. Or you could just have games that are totally roll and move, and that's all you have, and it's kind of boring. So roll and move, you know, listen, if my kids break out like Monopoly or a different roll and move game, I'm going to sit and play it with them, and I'm going to have a good time with them. But if Bob's like, "Hey, I got Monopoly, let's play it," I'm like, "Really, Bob? Like, is it April Fool's Day?
Or Monopoly Plus?
You're trolling me." Yeah.
I can't. I did not even consider this one because Cubitos is one of my all-time favorite games. Zaya is amazing. You guys won't shut up about Thunder Road.
Hell yeah.
And you're still putting roll to move on this list.
Yeah, but they put fun things in that game to go along with it. The roll and the move is exciting.
But that is the core mechanic of those games.
No. In Thunder Road, you assign dice. You roll your die, you assign them. That's not really roll and move. Yeah, but that's not really roll and move.
Oh, that's one of the 4 dice you roll. My bad.
The real roll and move in Thunder Road, which is one of the most amazing mechanics in there, is the I ram you, who goes where?
I'm gonna roll to see which way you move.
I mean, I would say the most literal interpretation of that, Rob, is actually dandelions from All Play. I mean, you just roll all of your dice and then you move around this board. And I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. Dandelions is pretty fun.
Listen, I said that every game except for one, there was exceptions.
Yeah.
But
there's some
roll and move
Bradley games that are just plain roll and moves, right? Like, sorry,
sure.
You just roll, you move.
Ooh, Rally Man, Bob.
What?
Rally Man, roll to move.
Oh yeah. That's also like, I don't want to say, it's almost like dice, not dice selection, because you're rolling your dice and you're putting them in order.
It's almost like roll and program to move.
Or program, move, then roll.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is you're adding an interesting aspect to it.
Right.
Sure.
You're making it
a card in your hand. You're changing it up. You're doing
I've purchased this card. I've added it to the top of my deck instead of my discard pile. Oh wow, this is already cooler. like it doesn't always take much to like improve on a mechanic that it can be a bummer.
Yeah. I mean, Candyland, you can draw those cards, right?
I don't technically agree with Mountain Goats because
why you roll?
You're not.
You move.
You roll. Yeah, but you're not moving the number that I don't know. That one.
You do. You add these 2 dice together, and you move.
That's. I guess. I don't know. I guess. Wait a minute. That's weird. They're
they
not
definitely
even
tend to stretch the limits of what, you know.
Well, and BGG is not even categorizing Cubitos as a roll and move, which is crazy to me.
How is it not?
Well, you roll the dice.
You move.
And all of the ones with feet move you, and that's the goal of the game.
Yeah, but the dice do other things other than just move you. They trigger abilities,
yes,
they do different things.
That's a given, but it's one of the core mechanics of the game. That's how you win. If you don't move, you lose.
Right, but there's things that add onto it that instantly make it more interesting than just a 6-sided die with pips,
made that
1 through 6. Yes.
3 times though.
Right. So what's your point? I just said there's exceptions to the fucking rule, Mike, and you keep naming the exceptions. So what is your point?
But it's a roll and move game.
Okay. It's a good one. Congratulations. It's an exception to the rule.
It's the best roll and move game is my point, because Brandon asked.
Sure.
Okay. I'm not saying where did I say in my list Cubito sucks. And any game that has my point exactly. Any game that has roll and move is terrible. Like, no, that's not my point. My point is it's a bummer mechanic in basic games, just like for Bob with deck building. It's the exact same thing. Deck building is one of my favorite. Deck building, it can be one of my favorite mechanics, but when it's done badly or poorly or in a boring way, I'm out. And it is even more detrimental to the game than if it just had a mechanic I wasn't exciting about. But if you tell me a game's deck building, a mechanic that I love, and the mechanic sucks in it.
Tim, question.
Yo.
Would you feel better if it was a flipping move?
Nah.
Okay, just curious.
Maybe.
Okay. That's it.
Well, with my number 5, I went with one of those old shitty mechanics that everybody knows is a shitty mechanic. And I know this because nobody makes games that do this anymore. They haven't even been able to improve the mechanic. It's just a bad mechanic and nobody likes it. So nobody's been like, oh, let me make improvements on this mechanic because it can be improved. And that's because losing a turn is the dumbest mechanic. There's nothing worse in a game than just flat out your turn is skipped or you lose a game. That's why people don't play Uno anymore. That's why people don't play the old Take That, Milton Bradley games.
Yes. You like Rallyman. And when you spin out, you lose a turn.
That is
you lose a turn in Heat, don't you? When you spin out?
That is push your luck.
Turn. You go backwards and ends your turn. You don't lose your next turn.
You might as well have lost your next turn.
You push your luck. It's not, you can't, when you skip your turn, you don't get to do anything. In both of those games, you still get to play out your turn. It's just the consequences of pushing your luck allowed you to not advance up the track.
No,
when you
totally
lose a turn, you don't even get to play a card. You don't roll dice. You sit there and you wait until it's your turn again.
There for a turn.
Yeah, but only if you roll your dice too much and push your luck.
Sure.
So
now, what about in games where
you pushed your luck too much, you lost your turn because of a consequence, not because somebody played a card or something, and now you're like, okay, I guess I'll just sit here with my thumb on my bum.
That's the worst version of it.
What if on your turn, you're like your character gets knocked down? So like basically on my turn is to stand up.
I mean, that sucks. You're not really doing anything.
But it beats dying.
It does beat dying. I'll give you that.
Depends
because you're still in the game. Now, if we go to what BGG classifies as games that have this, I've never played Arkham Horror, so I don't know the lose a turn mechanic.
Yeah.
In that game, and you can hate me for not liking that game.
I don't know the lose mechanic.
No, it's like you get like sucked into the portal. Like you draw a card, you don't get to do anything that rest of the turn. It's basically like your turn ends. It's more your turn ends than lose a turn.
Yeah. It is definitely prevalent in Citadels, though, and that's why I just don't find any interest in that game anymore. Because one of the cards there's like a bunch of roll cards that you select on your turn. And if you pick the assassin, whoever you play the assassin on doesn't get to do anything. They literally lose their turn. It's a terrible mechanic.
So what about in Battlestar Galactica when you like lock a Cylon in the jail cell and they can't do anything?
Haven't played it. In Dark Moon, you get quarantined and you can still do actions.
Okay, I guess you still kind of can in BSG. Mike, we should bring Dark Moon to CuseCon and play that.
Check to see if it's on their list. I would love to play Dark Moon again.
I know you don't like that game very much, but we should get you to play it. Which is I did go off the deep end. Mike pissed me off.
Galapagos. I don't remember how that makes you lose a turn. Oh, the Breaking Bad board game has losing a turn. That's why it's ranked 10,735. Modern games don't use this mechanic because it's terrible. I would have put it at number 1, but everybody knows it's a terrible mechanic, just like Roll to Move.
That was a good one that I didn't see coming, Mike. I'm going to give you credit.
How about that? All right, we're on to number 4, and I'm going to let my dog back in.
Oh, is he doing dog duty?
He is.
I guess it was 8:30. It was time for her to go. He tried so hard to get her to go to the bathroom like before 8 o'clock, and she just didn't want to go.
Yeah, gotta love it.
Yep.
Gotta love it. No, you can go, man. You can go.
All right.
Michael just sit there and name every other game, and you're like, dude, I know I like all those games, but this mechanic, when done badly, sucks, and it's a mechanic I don't like. But then he will keep naming games, the same game over and over, and you'll be like, I know, that's a good game, and he'll keep naming it. You're like, I know, I acknowledge
that game, remember? Yes. Okay. So I really dislike tiles or small tiles and card-based boards where you're constantly having to realign them, readjust them. Basically, anybody with any form of ADHD at all is just constantly having to realign, readjust, realign, readjust because the board's going all over the place. We just played a preview game. Was it a preview or review game we did?
I think it's technically a review, but it's not on BGG, which is weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
But Isekai, yeah.
Yeah, that had that in it a little bit. Mobile Markets has a lot of that where there's like a large marketplace and the cards are like all over the place. There's like 30 cards out and you're trying to keep them all straight so you can see.
That game sucks, yeah.
The mechanic, Bob?
Huh?
What's the mechanic?
Basically small tile or card-based boards or like layouts where you're constantly having to fiddle and straighten everything out and everything's moving around. And like you're saying, Explorers of the North Sea. Like, 'cause I love tile exploration, but they need to be big enough tiles where when I flip it or I put it out there, it stays where I put it. If I'm constantly having to fiddle and adjust, or I put another tile out and it moves everything else, I got to rearrange and put everything around together. I hate that mechanism in board games. Pollen kind of has that a little bit where you have these cards, you're putting them out there, and you're putting down these little dudes inside there. The cards are always shifting and moving. You're constantly trying to straighten them out and make the board look even. And it's like, just make a board like Trudvang has a thing where they've got a board and it's got like a little plastic sleeve and you just slide the cards into the sleeve and that would keep everything all in the place where it needs to go. And I just find that super.
Oh boy. I just don't understand what Mike's point was with all of that. I really don't. I love it. I love it. The reason Mike was listing games because they were all roller moves that weren't listed as such on BGG. Tim missed that and is super salty for some. Rob, get out of here. Just because you hung out with Mike last week at Grand Con, now you guys are BFFs. Like, you don't take his side. You don't take his side for that. You don't have to do that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Ooh, Nix, I like that. Drink here. Tiles. Ooh, poker chips. That would be a nice upgrade, right? So instead of like having just a little thin cardboard piece, would Earth fall in this category? A little bit. I do have the player mats, which kind of helps the cards stick around, but they don't necessarily have to be like bumped up against each other, right? You just kind of have them laid out in a big tableau.
Yeah, your grid.
It can be a little bit annoying, especially if you have that ADHD where like everything has to be straight for you. But like I'm talking about, like, oh, this has a road that kind of comes off of it, and then the road continues over here. So I need to, like, keep those kind of lined up. Karuba does that to an extent. I really enjoy Karuba. It's probably like one of the ones that I enjoy the most that has that sort of like a mechanism in it. But you don't really have to move them around a lot, and they are like on like a small board, and they're just squared. It's a little easier to keep the squares together than it is like the hexagons of, what did I say? Explorers of the North Sea. I enjoyed that game. Like I said, I enjoy tile exploration. It's a fun mechanism for me. But just when it comes down to just small tiles, having to keep them in line, especially because like a road or like a border or a wall has to stay lined up, when it's uneven, it just annoys me and I don't like it. So.
Quick question. It may or may not affect whether I change something on my list. Does lack of a mechanic count?
Is lack of a mechanic a mechanic?
Maybe the absence of a mechanic, the void of a mechanic. Is that a mechanic?
Sure. I don't know.
I was going to add
zero's a number.
To Eric's point, Earth was the first game I thought of, but they do have a board that kind of keeps them in place. And also, David, I 100% agree. I love Earth, but the blue and green color selection is awful.
Yes, the color palette is
awful. Oh my gosh, that green is
your player board. Those colors do not match. Like, I know I can tell those colors don't match. They're different green or gray.
I struggle with some of those colors, and I'm like, it's
we
bad.
decided to say the number. I say 1, 2, 3, or 4, right? And that way people know which one it is. If I say, oh, blue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This one. Yeah. I hate the color choices in that game.
Yeah.
Good call.
Okay. I will, while the crowd debates whether or not a lack of a mechanic is applicable, I will go to my number 4. And my number 4 is roll and write. I typically do not love roll and writes, but the ones that I do like, I really like. And I'm going to throw flip and writes in with this as well, because cartographers really won me over. I think spiritually, right, it's the same thing, right? A roll and write versus a flip and write. But like, That's So Clever. Like, I love that roll and write. Haikai, I love that roll and write. I did not love Welcome to Vegas. And that was a huge one for a little while. And everybody was doing roll. And I think some of it is like the cranky Gen Xer in me, where it's like, everybody's doing a freaking roll and write. I mean, every gosh dang game they were putting out roller rights for. Like right now, everything's going for like duet or duel. Like there's an Everdell duel game or duet game coming out. It's like a 2-player Everdell coming. There's all kinds of it's like the hip thing to do, because Seven Wonders did it really well, with Seven Wonders Duel. Actually probably made Seven Wonders better. And then
Splendor is good.
Splendor Duel is amazing, right? So it's just one of those mechanics I got very sick of very quickly. When it's done well, I really enjoy it. I really like Seven Bridges, where you're moving around that map. Hey, Winston, did you get a haircut recently? He looks trim.
No.
Tim, you haven't even mentioned your favorite rolling, right? Twilight Inscription.
Seven Bridges.
Oh, Twilight Inscription, 100%.
Yeah. That game's amazing.
Love that damn game. It's so good. It is so good. It made me kind of stop going, I hate roll and writes, and wanting to dismiss them right off the bat. Because now, after a couple of them that I really do like, I definitely want to try them, And then when I don't like it, I'm like, I was right about that one. But it's just a mechanic I don't always love on its. But when they do cool things with it, if you can make it so that there's combos or that it applies to an interesting theme, awesome.
Or you have a cool orange marker.
Dude, combos though. Twilight Inscription, combo-rific.
Some good combos.
Man,
I think that Hadrian's Wall surpassed Twilight Inscription for me. It's very good. Very, very good.
Sure.
But there's a lot to it to get good at. And I've played it a few times on BGA. There's still parts of the board that like I have to relearn where the iconography doesn't make sense. But
oh, sure. Yeah, I don't think
Cartographers is
Twilight
awesome.
Inscription is that hard, you know.
No,
I mean, there's a lot going on, but yeah.
There is, but I feel like if you have the basics down, that game plays pretty easy. You just got to give it a teach, but it does play, high player count relatively quick.
Jeez,
So.
This is crazy to me. I'm trying to find. Do they not consider it? I'm trying to find Twilight Inscription, and maybe so. BGG has flip and write. It does not actually have roll and write listed as a mechanic that I can see. So maybe I need to just try Twilight Inscription and see if it does. We all went nuts over Twilight Inscription when that first came out. There it is. Okay.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's out of order because it's mechanism dash rolling right. There you go. Of course, again, shown clever. Man,
Yeah,
I was
it's
all
so
over
good.
Long Shot when I first played it, and then
I
played
did not
it with
like that one.
8 players, and I hated it.
I did not like that one at all.
I wanted to like Fleet the Dice game, but I really didn't care for it.
I've heard great things about that. I hated the card game, the original game. There was one winning strategy. Dinosaur Island Roarin' Right is really good. I played that one a lot last year.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Of course, Three Bridges. 7 Bridges. There you go.
You'll get there.
3, 7, whatever.
Sisters, Bridges, basically the same thing.
Wait.
Flip and Phil.
That's my OnlyFans special edition.
Oh boy.
Dave, there's another version of Rajas of the Ganges, right? Because that game is just dice placement.
Yeah, I don't know what the roll and write Raja of the Ganges is, because I played that with the board game mechanics.
Is there a Rajas of the Ganges roll and write specifically? I'm trying.
Oh, there is. Okay.
Maybe I should try Fleet the Dice
gotcha.
game again, because apparently they're getting a lot of love in the.
It's getting a ton of love. You guys, I've never played it. You guys must be dummies.
Yeah, I tried it once, but maybe it was like I was salty because I was looking for a good boat game, and it didn't scratch the itch for me because, I tried Seafall, and I tried.
There it is. The Dice Charmers.
I tried British versus Pirates, and I tried one other one. Just couldn't find something to scratch the itch that I really wanted.
And then, Smurfing, right? Okay. So Smurf is their verb?
Yep.
Okay.
Roll and rub. That's what
Bob's OnlyFans has a lot of Smurfing going on.
Ooh. On Tour's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, I do like On Tour.
On Tour is pretty good.
I like the pathing of that one. You really have to plan ahead on that game. That one's clever. Yeah, okay. I should have known that one. You've always talked about how you don't like that mechanic.
Yeah. But when I do, I love it.
I came to those late. I didn't really play them when everybody was getting into them. So I think that's why I jumped into them late and found a whole bunch that I love. Okay. My number 4. There's one specific game that Tim is immediately going to think of when I mention this mechanic. And he's going to be a little bit salty about it. But it is speed or speed matching games. Like Spot It, I hate Spot It. Like, how fast can you recognize that 2 icons are on 2 different? I don't get it. It's not fun. Happy Salmon, I think, is fine, but it's fine. I won't not play it, and I don't even talk bad about it. But speed games suck. Like, I hated Pit. Oh my gosh, Pit was terrible. The people that have already played Pit, they will destroy you. If you want to talk about a game where experience helps, play Pit with people that have played that game 10 or more times. You will get annihilated. It is not fun. I just actively disliked Pit.
Have you ever played an Egyptian rat screw? It's a card game.
Sounds racist.
And no, but it's a really fun speed war, right? You're flipping your cards over, and when they match, you got to smack it really fast. I like that. Or like Speed itself. Like Speed is an awesome card game. Like I will rock some Speed and
like Spoons is okay. I grew up playing some Spoons.
No real time. Oh my gosh, I love real time.
I like real time. Real time's different.
I like stressful. Yeah.
Speed specifically is different than real time because I've enjoyed some real time games for sure.
Mike, what's going on? You hurt yourself? You chew
Oh yeah. So the reason I started cussing over here is Sushi bit the hell out of my finger because I had her bone in my hand, and so I know it was only because I had the bone in my hand, and she bit hard. Yeah, so it was bleeding. So
dang.
Yeah, it really hurt.
All right.
I have a pretty high pain tolerance. That hurt like a mother. I was trying to find more of those, just going through the list real. Yeah, speed matching is specifically one of these mechanics. Oh, Dutch Blitz. I hated that one too. God. People that have played those games will destroy you. They know what to look for.
Exactly. That's the tough part about it. Is people that have played those types of games will probably kick your butt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you're able to make the decisions faster when you've played the game a handful of times. That just makes it not fun for people that haven't. It's like, okay, well, I'll watch you win. Why don't you just play solo? I'll watch. Yeah,
Bob's got an OnlyFans for that too.
I've never enjoyed Spot It. I'm like, really? This is it? This is the game? What else can we play?
I mean, that's like I Spy or whatever in the car. I mean, those are, in my opinion, I mean, there's gonna be people that like those games. In my opinion, that's a game I play with my kids in the car, whatever. You know what I mean? Like something to keep them busy.
That's different. I would, if my options were sit and do nothing or play Spot It with kids, I'd play Spot It with kids.
I don't know. Nothing sounds kind of good.
Is there whiskey?
I see silence. But anybody else see silence?
I used to play Graveyard when I used to babysit. We'd all have to lay on the ground and lay as still as we could.
So yeah, I mean, Happy Salmon is probably the one speed game, Tim, that I would not necessarily ask to play, but if you ask me to play, I'd be like, yeah, sure, I'll play.
I'll bring it to CuseCon. I'll play Happy Salmon all day.
Let's not get carried away.
Too late. It's already packed.
Yeah.
Sorry, swimming its way up the St. Lawrence Seaway.
That's it.
Yeah, that's true. All right, there you go. So speed and speed matching, they're terrible.
All
right. On to number 3.
So my number 3 is subjective judge mechanics. Can they be good for a laugh sometimes? Sure. Yeah. But like, I'm not gonna play for points. Okay. I'll play Cards Against Humanity with you, but I'm not gonna do it to see who gets the 5 first. It's like, let's just do it and laugh for about 20-30 minutes and be done with it. Okay. I'm not gonna sit here and drag it out for an hour trying to get the 5 or whoever number you're playing to. But it just becomes then just pandering to the judge, and like there's a lot of those games like that. And like I said, they're gonna be good for a laugh, but I just find the mechanic tired. I know if somebody busts that game out, I'm like, I'll be a good sport and play, but like, can we play a real game next?
Well, I mean, and the thing with like Cards Against Humanity is it's really like, how can we just out filth each other? Which is fine. When we play Balderdash, I try to make it as terrible as I can. Like depending on who's reading the card, like if Matt's wife has to read the card for like Balderdash, I'm writing the most vile thing that I could make this sweet woman say. Like it just, but it devolves into me entertaining myself and not like trying to actually win the game. Right.
But I'm sorry,
Bob. That was the first
I was gonna say it.
I'm not gonna sit there for an hour and try to get to like a certain score. You know what I'm saying? I'll play it to have fun and to have some laughs. They are good for some laughs, but like as far as
come to the coast, have a few laughs.
Yeah. So
that is so funny. You deserve that one, Bob.
Well, hey. We're being
I get you though.
And like I said, and I said it right up front, even before he commented. I knew he was there. I'll play them for fun, but like I'm not gonna sit here for an hour and try to get to so many points before we call it a day.
No,
like,
well, and I will say, in Bob's defense, and in the defense of the great Fairy Tale Campaign Trail, is there's so many times in that game specifically where I don't care if I'm actually winning or not because of the crazy stuff we are doing. It's like playing Telestrations. I'm not playing Telestrations because I think I'm the best artist. I'm playing Telestrations because I want to laugh. You know, I'm playing Fairy Tale Campaign Trail because I want to have this like raucous, really like wild and fun time with people that I love. So yeah,
and to me that's different than playing a game to win. You know what I mean? It's like, to me, the winning is the laughing in that game. There's not a point value or something to it.
I found this mechanic on BGG earlier, and now I can't. I wanted to see other games that like fall into that category.
Apples to apples. I mean, there's a million games with the
judgment. Right. Killer game of Joking Hazard at Origins.
Joking Hazard. Laughing,
yeah. But like, you know, after an hour, I'm done.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's it.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, that's what I will say. So, Eric, in defense of Fairy Tale Campaign Trail, like they have in the rules, there's timers. You get 2 minutes basically to debate. So it keeps the game moving. It keeps it brisk. You need parameters definitely for a game like that because you want it to keep moving because then it definitely drags. Especially if your stuff's never getting picked. It really, really, really drags. Now, again...
or just like, you know, toss your cards in, draw new cards. If you don't like your cards, just toss them in, draw new ones. I'm not going to play by the rules that say I'm going to be stuck with stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, here's an example of a game that I really wanted to like and I just didn't. And it's 100% based on the judge mechanic. But the theme I love, but the game just never turned out to be that much fun. And that was B movies. Where you get the cards and you're trying to make your own movie. And I don't know. Every time I played that, it just felt really flat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt really flat. And it was kind of a bummer. But you know, whatever. I get it, though. I get it. It was really cool that Bob used to get that.
Humanity's the big
offender here.
Because like so many people that I know like aren't really like into gaming, and that's like the game they've got. And they feel like I've got every expansion. We can play it all night.
Oh,
so what you do is you get them Fairy Tale Campaign Trail. You buy that game, and then what you do is you get Aaron and them and London and Christina to make After Dark cards, and then send you the After Dark cards. So then the people that want to play Cards Against Humanity play a better game. And they can still have the same dirty stuff, or you use your Cards Against Humanity cards with the Fairy Tale Campaign Trail rules, so you combine them.
There you go. I haven't played Canvas Critters yet. I was hoping to check that out at the soiree.
Oh yeah, we got
except we ran out of time.
We played a different judging game that Planet Earth.
Aloha Earth.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, it was good.
I actually picked up Snake Oil a couple months ago because it was like $5.
That's fun. Canvas Critters does that mechanic really well. It was really neat.
Okay.
Really neat. Yeah, David, that's cool, man. I would be useless against calc homework.
Calculator homework?
Yeah.
Do that.
Oh my word.
Aaron, you're welcome.
Let me tell you,
I'm an idea man.
This big black never mind.
Dingus? Are you gonna say dingus?
Or some other D words.
Oh, we're throwing salt in there.
Listen, Eric, we thought we were gonna have a lot more time at the soiree. Like we were just getting into games, and then the next thing I know, Shannon comes over and is yelling at us, "You guys got to wrap it up!" And it's like
we're like 2 rounds in.
We had no idea. We didn't know. It was rough. I felt really bad because I felt like I was being scolded, and I'm like, I know she's just trying to be like do her job, but I was like, oh my gosh, why did we just get yelled at? We're just playing games.
Trying to play a game.
We'll leave. That's fine.
No.
All right.
I wonder why I don't want to play with you.
You ready for my number 3?
Yes.
Ready.
This mechanic single-handedly ruined a game for me.
Oh,
Forced trading. I loathe with every bone in my body, with this the flame of 1,000 suns, forced trading. I hate it.
I mean, forced trading really, I think it's more like stealing at that point.
Stealing is different. Stealing is, at least call it what it is. Don't bullshit me with forced trading. Like, no, thank you for this pittance that you've given me. Like, no. Just call it a steal. You know, and again, like, there are games where it's like, I get to take a card from your hand and I'm going to give you a card. But it feels better when it's kind of random, you know, or something. But like, I don't know, man. It feels really bad when it's like, oh, look, I'm going to steal this property from you. Here's 2 victory points. 4 victory points. Okay, so excuse me, that 26-point swing from you stealing that property is not worth this. It's not even worth this. It sucks. It's not worth this. It sucks.
To specifically break down that mechanic, if you've got a building and somebody has 2 buildings on each side and you say, hey, let's trade them. They go, nah. You can go, oh, sorry, those 2 are now mine.
And now you're going to get even less for not trading me because I'm just going to steal the damn thing.
Should have traded.
I do agree. I love Foundations of Rome. I love that it has trading, but my understanding is that if you use that module, the trading and that steal mechanic are all part of the same module.
And trading is
and I feel that is a forced mechanic in the game. I do not like it.
Once per game.
I don't use it unless somebody
28
does it to
points,
me.
26 points one time in a game can be huge.
It's pretty big.
I agree with you, Tim. I think
how many times, Bob,
mechanic.
how many times have you and I had games? How many times have you and I had games that come down and we're within like 5 points, 3 points, 2 points of each other? It happens a lot.
Uh-huh.
So when it happens by 26 points and I was already losing by 30.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it. Now, swapping hands, I don't mind it when it's like, when things are happening in like big dynamic and like kind of crazy shifts. But in a game where it's very important on how you plan, it is imperative. And the crux of your plan is to not have one thing stolen from me and I just get insulted by getting handed 4 points. I just have a big F you to say, and I hate that. And it really ruined my experience. Yeah, so I hate it. No trade.
Oh, 404, Timbot not found.
Oh, wow.
There is, correct, Eric. There is no trading in the base game. It is one of the modules. One of the modules I tend to play with. That's like the monuments. You know, I play with that module. I play with all, I'd say most of the modules. There's one I don't really play with. And I did mess up. When I did teach Tim, I did the ones with the specialty cards, but I shuffled them all in instead of just doing 3 per era. And it was too much. And that I think salted the experience for him a little bit as well. So
yeah, it feels forced because it is a game with trading. And then if someone says, no, I don't want to trade you that, you can just go, oh, well, I'll do this instead. And knowing that can happen, then the person is just always going to trade with you until you use that, because it is only a 1-time per game ability.
Correct.
But I still, it's
still though, it can really suck though. So say you've gotten these 5 territories, you need that 6th one so you can build your big thing, and somebody buys it and they don't want to trade to you. They're just going to be a jerk and not trade to you. You know, it's like, you know what, then once per game, I can take that. And if you're really worried about somebody taking it early on, try to trade for their token so that they can't take it from you.
I still don't like it, and I don't use it when I've played. If somebody does it to me, I will make it my mission to do it back.
The launch has been delayed, Brandon. It's coming, but they did push it back a little bit.
Yes, it was originally July 4th, and it is getting pushed back. It's going to be Q4. But it is coming for sure.
Yeah.
They had a booth at Origins and everything, so they are still full speed ahead.
Full speed ahead.
Yep.
Cards look nice too. Tim's got the new updated version.
Yes. Christine did a great job on the art.
Yep.
Yep,
Jim was right. Too salty. Internet couldn't handle that much sodium. Your interwebs couldn't handle that much sodium. You gave your hamster a heart attack.
Too much rage. Too much rage.
Your internet rage quit.
could be.
Oh man.
Oh man. Good stuff.
Give me my goddamn points back.
There we go.
Shoot.
I want my points.
Oh, it's this month. There it is. Cleared it up. I thought it was September.
Oh my gosh. So close.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Maybe.
And I would rather play that than Cards Against Humanity any day.
Well,
Oh,
duh.
I love
Duh.
the theme.
Come on. Duh. What are we even talking about here?
Instead of doing like the bigger, blacker box, you need to do like the more fantasy box or something. All right. We're up to Mike.
My number 3. I have a couple exceptions here.
Of course.
And
they all have exceptions.
Yeah. But my number 3 mechanic that I don't like is memory games. One, my memory is never good. It never has been. Now, there's a reason for that. Not what you're thinking.
Oh.
Now, there are a couple exceptions. One is drafting games like Sushi Go or Blood Rage, where like the cards in my hand, I know somebody's got it. So I can usually remember that. That's fine. I also really enjoy Captain Flip. Captain Flip is growing on me so fast.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm really enjoying Captain Flip, but that's easy. Like it's just a double-sided tile and the game lasts 15 minutes. It's not like I got to remember something for an hour. That's just not going to happen. So memory games, just don't agree with the memory games, man. It doesn't work for me a lot.
You know what memory game I like a lot, and I'm not gonna fight you on the memory games thing. I don't know that I love them either, but one that I really do like a lot that was pretty fun was That's Not a Hat.
I never did play that.
Right there. Sushi Boat had a memory.
Yeah.
To it. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, Sushi Boat did. But just Sushi Boat is also just really freaking good.
Yeah.
Hold on, Andrew, you're going to have to tell me what this broken Captain Flip strategy is. You can put it in the chat or you can message me. Either way, I have to know.
This time.
Yeah, seriously, don't tell him.
Well, I'll use it against Donnie.
Okay, fair. Donnie's too damn good at games anyways.
Seriously, I don't think I've won a game against him yet on BGA.
Don't play him in Gizmos. He is an animal at Gizmos.
Yeah.
Another one. You ever played Witness? It's kind of that like whisper where it's sort of like whatever Telestrations was based off, where you whisper in someone's ear. The resident lurker was here.
That's the way to get Donnie to pop out.
It's so good. We're getting called out by everybody.
I never have played. That's not a hat.
Dave, that's not a hat. Listen, I lived my whole life feeling like an idiot. That's not a hat. It's a welcome respite.
No, there was that game we played at the very end of the, what was it, Indie Spiel last year that had that bit of memory where you're like asking, almost like Go Fish, like, do you have this card or do you have that card? And they have to show you a card and you're, what was that game?
I just thought of
IndieCon when we played what was that game?
You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
You have a hand of cards, you put them in numerical order.
We played it like after Draftosaurus, right? It wasn't Draftosaurus, or was it Correct. Draftosaurus?
No.
It's after Draftosaurus.
You mean Surfosaurus Rex?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that one. I didn't care for that. It was
pulling up my BG stat.
After that. It was like the last game we played.
Yeah.
Your sister played.
Is it the jungle, like the forest one?
No, let me see if I can.
No, we played that before then.
I'm not sure how I too.
That is actually. Oh, I had one and I just lost it. Gosh. I love social deduction games, but there's one I really disliked, and it's because rolls are passing around the table constantly, and you have to remember where cards end up, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
good cop, bad cop. That game did not
I
work
like good cop,
for
bad
me.
cop, but yeah.
Yeah, I just did
When
not
was
like how much the rolls just fly around, and then you have to remember where'd my card end up. I have no idea.
Ooh, I like this. I like this.
There's only one trivia game that I've actively enjoyed, and that was that one we played on the full 42
Oh
CDSK.
yeah, that one's really
That
good.
was good. I like that because you're given a topic and then you can get a confidence score of 1 to 10. The higher the confidence, the more challenging the question is, but the more points you get for it. And I thought that was a very clever twist on a
Mhm.
trivia game. I liked that one quite a bit. Yeah, but drafting games are the exception where you have to try to remember a card that's in the game and how you can interact with that card.
Was
Right.
it? So it looks like it's 2 names in here. Nana, but it's also called Trio.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
that's it. Yep.
Yep.
That was one of these that came in here, and I was like, why does that look familiar?
Yep.
On the BGG
Yeah.
list here. Yeah.
Nice.
That was okay.
Yay! And people say keeping track of your plays is dumb.
Man, I've been bad about it
Yep.
this year. I've been really
Mm.
bad about it this year. I'm gonna do
Sure.
better at CuseCon. I'm gonna track all my plays at
Fires.
CuseCon.
I need to track some of the games. The thing is, some of the games we've been previewing like aren't out there, like you were saying. It's like,
Mhm.
Oh, you still gotta track those. That makes it even better for when they come out.
it's like
Ah,
that was Mike's hipster moment. So is that what was your number 3 then, Mike?
Memory. See, it's ironic you couldn't
I
remember
forgot.
his.
oh, the irony. Okay,
Hilarious.
let's go to our number 2.
It's gonna come as no surprise. It's already been mentioned, but pure social deduction games, I don't like them. Werewolf, Blood on the Clock Tower, things like that. Like I don't mind like some like bluffing, and whatnot is okay. But even like Spyfall, I don't care for much. It's just like, hey, let's just go lie to my friends for 2 hours. I don't care for it. It's not the kind of game I want to play. Hidden Roll, it's different. There's a lot of other things going on, with like Unfathomable and things like that. Like you have your own like hidden objective. That's fine, I suppose. But like I just like Avalon, Resistance, Werewolf, like Blood on the Clock Tower. Like I said, it's not my bag, baby. So
I thought this would be your number 1, to be honest.
really,
I did too.
okay.
I thought it'd be your number 1.
Wow. What does he hate worse than social deduction?
Ooh, I hope it's the same as mine. I hope it's
Probably.
the same as mine. It'd be so good. It'd be so funny. It'd be so funny. You guys are gonna hate my number 1.
Wild Stallions. Oh, wait.
No, that's like the best just one thing that has ever happened.
Yep. Hilarious. So yeah, that's it. That's all. Not much else to say about it because if you watch the show at all, I don't care for that. So
yeah, I mean, you do like some games that have the mechanic in it as part of another thing because you don't mess with Cthulhu.
Yep.
And that is basically a social, like I'm gonna lie to my friends for, but it's like I'm gonna lie to my friends for 15 minutes, right?
Yeah. And that's fine. But like I've played Blood on the Clock Tower 2 or 3 times, and it's just like it takes way too long. It's all of it is. I mean, you got to have a good narrator. If you don't have a good narrator, the game sucks. Like because it's so much at their mercy, and they can disclose whatever information they want. They can do, and like I don't know. I don't see that.
Yeah.
Like great production value. Like it looks beautiful, that big box, everything. And I get it. If you like those social deduction types of games, it's great, I guess. But like I said, it's just not my bag, baby.
I just like to know who the storyteller is in advance.
Right. Sheriff of Nottingham, it's okay. Like, you got to get people that get more in character.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bob, I think you and I always have a good time playing it, but usually when you and I are playing it, we're playing it with people that are laughing and having fun.
Yeah, we're kind of like making more of it than the game actually is. The game doesn't say that you have to talk with a British accent, but it helps.
Right, but you should.
You should. And I ended up actually picking up, I saw on sale the Disney Robin Hood.
Oh, you got the Robin Hood one?
Yeah.
I need to get that one.
Yeah. So, I mean, I ended up picking that up. I haven't actually played it yet, but like if I'm going to play it, at least I have some cool art, you know?
Yeah, hell yeah. I want that version so bad because I love that Disney movie. It's one of my favorite.
Have you seen that meme with that Robin Hood? Like Robin Hood steals from the rich and gives it to the poor. The poor person's like, oh, wow, I'm rich now. And he's like, you're what? Hilarious.
So good. All right. My number 2.
I did Brandon, I've been wanting to play Feed the Kraken for so long. You have to order it from the publisher, so it's a little bit, more difficult to get. But man, I've been so interested in that one for a long time. Anyway.
All right.
Heard great things.
My number 2. Player elimination, right? I mean, that's an obvious one, especially in a game that goes for more than a half an hour.
Yeah.
Because
10, 20 minutes.
Who cares?
Right.
Shut up. We're going to play again in just a minute. Right.
Go get a drink.
Right. The games that do it right are when the game ends when a player gets eliminated, and then you either check for, who wins, whatever, cockroach poker. You only lose if you get eliminated. Everybody else gets to win. And that's fine because then the game's over. But anytime somebody's got to sit at the table and watch everybody else play a game for another 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 minutes, looking at you who goes there, it's a real bummer, and it's just not fun for anybody.
Yeah.
I would say that have we ever seen players eliminated?
No, because of the merge mechanic. The merge mechanic prevents player elimination.
And then usually the game ends so quickly right after that. You know what I mean? Like it's like 2 turns, if that.
That was one of my honorable mentions, Tim.
The key is, it was one of mine too. The key is with Ankh is that you got to have 2 merge players that are invested and still winning. And you can strategize for the merge, which makes it very fun. Ahead of seeing, like, you see that, I'm in last place. Why would I attack the player that's in second to the last place when we're going to become the same team? I'm going to attack the person in first or second, and then me in second to last can buddy up ahead of the merge. I think that's a fantastic wrinkle to that game and solves the player elimination issue that many games have.
Yeah. And I know it's not a board game, but that's one of my beefs sometimes with Magic is like, we try to, like, especially when you're playing Commander, it's a little bit more, I don't say friendly of an environment, but it's more of a group thing. And you're trying to kind of keep it even to kill people around the same time. But then sometimes, like, you kill somebody and then the other person, like, starts to make a comeback, and the other person's sitting there for 30, 45 minutes. And it's like, sorry, dude, I thought this was going to be over. And that can be unfortunate, but
yeah. It's just, I think most games now that come out that have some form of player elimination usually have a mitigator, right? Something to make it interesting or speed it up, or
or like Clank does. Like, okay, you're not out, but on your turn, you're drawing more cubes.
Yeah, you're still doing stuff, right? You're hurting the other team, you're hurting the other players and everything. Googs, we've been talking about CuseCon. Cannot wait. Cannot wait.
Can't wait.
It's gonna be awesome.
I will tell you one of the I've definitely told this story before. One of my worst experiences I've ever had playing a game. This was like 11, 12 years ago, and we're playing Boss Monster, and we played it incorrectly. But I got eliminated after the second round. And then within, like, midway through the third round, I pointed out, hey guys, because of this rule, I shouldn't have been eliminated. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll make sure we play that right then. And then they kept fucking playing. I sat there for 45 minutes while people played Boss Monster, and I showed them how to play it correctly.
That's bad friends.
Well, I don't game.
That's bad friends, Justin. They should have let you take a turn back. So
Those people aren't even friends anymore. So, but that's terrible. King of Tokyo and New York has player elimination, but it's quick enough. It usually happens later in the game. It's not as detrimental. It's not
it escalates quick. It was a kitty.
Actually, Montoons has player elimination, but I got eliminated like the round before the game ended, so the timing felt really good. It was very
it came down to like, oh, I can't solve the puzzle, gotta kill Mike.
Yeah, it was very tight. Yeah.
Again, though, right? It's that hanging around for another, you doubling the length of the game, right? As you're waiting, it sucks.
There's another one I thought of that handles as well, and I still enjoy this game. It's Secret Hitler. If you get killed, it is still very interesting seeing how the rest of the game plays out.
And again, I don't think Secret Hitler takes that long, though.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you have a really chatty group, it's 40 minutes. If you don't, it's 20.
Yeah. And if usually like, hey, be cognizant that the dude that, died so we can hurry up and like wrap this bad boy up. Or, the person that's dead is chatting and they're having a good time because they're participating in the conversation. But
can't wait, Mike. Thanks for stopping by, buddy.
Mike, very excited for CuseCon. Cannot wait to be there. If there's anything you need from me or any of us to do at CuseCon, let us know, man. I'm happy to help. You need games giveaway, I will bring games to give away. You need people to teach or run games wrong, I will happily do that. Whatever. Yep. Very excited.
Yep.
Just show up. I can do that. And you can still win if you die in Secret Hitler. Yep. Hell yeah.
You're vested when you die. It's still interesting. Exactly. I will say, even though this BGG calls it player elimination, and I know it's only for 20 seconds, but I've never thought Love Letter was that good. I think it's very overrated. And even though you're sitting there for a minute, it's still player elimination. You're like, I'm not playing for this minute.
Yeah, I love Love Letter, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it's not very long. So.
Oh no, we had to drink whiskey with Googs.
Oh no. What about the Malorts? No, David, just so you know, not cousin David, I've been behaving myself. We've been in agreement within the last couple. My number one will get some fiery responses, I'm sure.
Mine too. I'm ready.
No.
I'm writing in with West, right? There will be Malort.
He's gonna tell us what flavor before he gets there.
No shit. He's probably soaking some old shoes in a bottle of Malort right now.
He's marinating it right now.
He's probably got his socks he wore at Gen Con, like soaking in a bottle of Malort right now.
I think that's actually an original recipe.
You're welcome.
Wow. Okay, I am going to lose some friends with my number one and my number two.
Sweet. Looking forward to it.
I've played quite a few of these, and I don't hate them. This is not a mechanic. This is a genre of games.
Okay. Did you not hear the list topic?
And there's none of them. Okay, there's one of them, but it's not out yet. But for the most part, I'm like, on dungeon crawlers. So Descent was like the first dungeon crawler ever. No, okay, technically Hero Quest was when I was a kid. And that's kind of cool when you can like be the evil character, sort of like in Imperial Assault. Kind of cool. But like I just feel like every single dungeon crawler I've ever played comes down to, should I move then attack? Or should I attack then move? Wait, but I could use a spell. Oh, I have an item. That's it.
Yeah.
So I just find that decision space boring, and I need more than that. And a lot of times, even when you're playing games like that, someone else is going to go, oh, well, you should definitely move here and then attack. And it's like, okay, just go ahead and play for me. I'll find something else to do. Dungeon crawls are just not my thing. Now, that being said, I've played Jaws of the Lion. That's fine. I like the card mechanic. That's a decision that's interesting to me. That's the most interesting decision in any dungeon crawler I've ever played, which is, do I want to play the top of this card or the bottom of this card? And then I got to play the inverse of the other card. That mechanic I like. But I never finished Jaws of the Lion. We never finished Frosthaven. I never finished Descent.
So you
Now
don't like it because it's move then attack or attack then move. But in Cubitos, all you do is move. You don't even have the option to attack.
we're racing. And we're rolling dice, and we're getting better dice as we go. And we're pressing our luck.
Equipment as you go. And we're racing to kill that monster before time runs out because the floor is melting into lava.
Yeah. Like, and I won't even like, if I'm with a bunch of people that are playing a dungeon crawler and they're like, hey, Mike, do you want to play Frosthaven? I'll go, yeah, sure. But I'm not like, oh, yes. I've just never been a thing for me that much.
And you're not super into like fantasy either, though.
Right.
Like,
also true.
And that doesn't help.
Right. Yeah, dungeon crawling, like for me, I really, really like them, but I was a D&D player for a very long time. I did love HeroQuest back, in the 90s, and stuff like that. I mean, the thing is, right, you're not going to lose friends over this pick. We'll see what your number one is. But the thing is it's like, we're going to play a dungeon crawler. Mike's just not on the call sheet, right? Or he's like way lower down on the call sheet.
Yeah. If I'm playing Descent, I'm not calling Mike.
Right. Not because Mike's not fun to play with. It's just, well, unless I need players and it's like, hey, man, do you want to try this out? We got a spot. Like, there's other people I know that would want to sit down and play a dungeon crawler with me,
But I also will
flank a dungeon crawler.
Yeah, baby. I mean, it is, but it's not. It's not the same.
The mechanics are very, very different.
Okay.
It's all about the mechanics, not necessarily the theme. It just feels repetitive.
Sure.
And I don't like feeling like I'm doing the same thing every time I play, I guess. That might work.
And that's where you need to stick with one, because as you level up, you tend to get a lot more abilities, and then you're not just doing the same thing over and over again. You're like, oh, I can do this, this, or this.
Yeah. Yeah. You do get options. There's different things. I enjoy the strategy and the puzzles of dungeon crawls. It's sort of like any game like that. I feel like if you can overcome like a difficult scenario with a fun group of dudes, guys and girls, an awesome group, you come out with some really good stories. I remember, for example, at Origins last year when we played Return to the Dark Tower with Katie and Patrick, and it was like me and Spencer. Did you play that one too, Bob?
I was there. I wasn't playing that game. I was playing something else.
Oh yeah. But anyways, Katie was like going into the dungeons and like just wrecking it and having the best time. And what's funny is I don't know that when she sat down to play that game, I think she was interested, but I didn't think she thought she was going to love it. Right. I believe they might own that game now. Like, they had such a good time playing it. But again, there's lots of things you're doing. And, anytime she's like, well, what should I do? And we're all, again, group dependent, because I get what Mike's saying. We're all like, whatever you want, like, go for it. Like, I'm not going to tell you how to take your turn. I could say, if you do this, X, Y, and Z is a possibility. And if you do this, it might be A, B, and C. But hey, man, do what you want. And, we all just had a really good time, came away with a really good story, still remember it, and could talk about it. Oh no, Eric. No. Damn it.
I also, if you need a player, I'm not an automatic no. That's the thing. I don't dislike them. I don't own a single one.
There's only been one time where Mike has actively derailed a game, and I've just been like, okay, we're done playing this, and we're not going to play it. And you're like, what? Why? I'm like, Mike, you're being miserable right now.
What game was that? I remember that.
I was.
I don't want to name it on the show. I'll tell you afterwards.
That's fair. Yeah.
And again, the game wasn't vibing with Mike, and that's fine. And I just packed it up because I didn't want to get angry. I was frustrated and I didn't want to get angry about it. So we packed it up, and guess what? We're big boys. We're adults. We went on and we played games the rest of the day, and it was fine. No big deal.
You know what? That same game on a different day, I think I'd probably enjoy it more.
You might. I was really surprised that you were not having the time with it. But I think also kind of at the same time, we had gotten some frustrating news, like show news, like right around that same time. Maybe regarding a Kickstarter that we didn't get access to, that we thought we were going to get access to. I think it was right around that same time.
I think it was around that.
He was already in a bad mood.
Yeah.
All right.
But no, Mike, I get what you're saying. And yeah, I mean, I think the nice thing is that the three of us, I feel like we could sit at a table and play a game, and we're going to do our best to have a good time. 99, with the exception of the one time, the example I brought up with Mike being really salty about a game, but he wasn't in the right headspace for that game, and that's totally fine.
That's true.
Because sometimes you're not. But I mean, honestly, though, if we sit down to play, and actually, to Mike's credit, once he realized that I was upset about it, he kind of offered to try, and I was like, no, I'm done. So, and I stopped that. You know, I squashed that, because if I'm remembering it correctly, Mike's like, well, hold on, I didn't realize. I'm like, it's fine. But we're done. Like, we have to do something else.
Move on.
And I do believe, Mike, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I genuinely believe you would have come in with a different disposition towards it. It may not have changed your opinion of the game, but I feel like you would have come in with a different disposition once you realized what was happening.
I actually felt bad because I ruined a game. I did. I was like, oh my God, I actually did just ruin this game.
It's like, I was a dick.
But for the most part, though, but for the most part, right? We all sit down and we just try to have a good time while we're playing games. You know, rarely do we sit down and go, like, this sucks. I don't want to be here. We all want to be there, even if it's just like, let's get through this game and then we can play something else. So we do try to make the most out of stuff. And I believe that if Mike sat down for a dungeon crawl, you know, he may not love it initially at first, or maybe there's something going on. But I think by the end of it, like, maybe you would either see the light or you'd go, you know what, it wasn't for me, but I gave it a shot.
Andrew, I have not played Cthulhu Death May Die. I know that sounds criminal, but it's because I've also haven't played Arkham Horror, because I played Elder Sign, and I didn't like that. I
love Elder Sign. I feel like Death May Die is a little overrated, but that's
Death May. I feel like Death May Die is like the best of like the Cthulhu games. I mean, like, Cthulhu Wars aside, 'cause that's different, right? But you're talking like Arkham Horror, Death May Die, Elder
Mansions
Sign,
of Madness. It's like streamlined Mansions of Madness, but it's so, I just got sick of it because
suck. I hate those minis.
Good point, David.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
the
great.
floggings will continue
until morale improves.
Yes.
I miss my shirt like that.
All right. I've done enough dogging on the
dungeon crawls.
The dungeon crawlers, and
oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm looking like there's my Massive Darkness 2. There's my I got the second and third edition.
Yeah.
Like all my dungeon crawls. I got my Gloomhaven, my Frosthaven, to be fair to me though, I haven't played Gloomhaven past the first scenario. I have Jaws of the Lion. I've popped it and punched it, and then Frosthaven, I think I've only opened the box twice.
Yeah, I played all the way through Gloomhaven, really enjoyed it. And we played that first scenario on Frosthaven, and it was just
Wow. Right on.
Yeah.
We're not going to stray too far from this for my number one, so keep this fresh in your head. And let's go to number one. What's up, Jason? I know Jason's got my back on dungeon crawling.
He heard me talking about Return to the Dark Tower, and he had to pop in. I'm making that up, but we were.
That's right.
I was born salty.
He was born to it.
Yes.
All right. So, my number one is any mechanism that causes me to lose. I don't like it.
Oh, Bob, I almost put this on my list. I almost put this on my list. I seriously almost put this on my list.
I don't. If you put something in a game and because of that mechanism I lose, it's shit. I don't like it.
You will appreciate my number one though.
But yeah, that's it. That's my number one.
Oh, dude, that's so good. That's so good. Bob.
Yes.
I appreciate the specificity of that pick, but is there like an example that you can cite?
Sure. Like, I mean,
oh, wait, what game was it that we were playing? Oh, it was the Air Force game. And you kept having the worst
character.
No character. Yeah. Can't win. That was annoying. Dan brings it up every time. Yeah.
That's Falcons?
Yeah, it's Falcons.
Well, the same thing kind of happens in Venice, but see, I don't mind it. Where it's like, because they have that, what is it, the intrigue or whatever, and whoever has, like, if you have too much, then you're sus and you can't win the game.
Right.
But I don't mind that so much because you know that from the beginning of the game. But there is a couple of games where it's like random right at the end, and I don't care for it much. So, Galactic Rebellion.
Yep.
Friend of the show, Sir Glenn Drover. It's one of his games. I really enjoy that game, but there's just
that thing
that can happen at the very end of the game that can just make the game completely swing the other way.
That the thing at the end that you can't really mitigate for is really tough.
Yep. And then it also can kind of happen in oh crap, I'm gonna draw a blank of the name. It's a game I enjoy too, but then it's the Path of Civ. So sometimes if you're doing really well all game, but then those last couple of wonders that come out. So if you're paying your cubes and putting them in there and waiting for those last tier of wonders to come out, and then it's for military and the culture one and another one, and it's just one of the three that you're not working towards it at all, and there's zero help for you. But then this one person who all he's been doing is military and hasn't really got him out of points all game, all of a sudden, boom, he's going to get a ton of points, and it's just something random at the very end of the game that you cannot account for.
Yeah,
and it can be a little feels bad and make the game too swingy for me. But I mean, that being said, I still love Path of Civ. Like it's still like I super enjoy everything I'm doing for the game. It's just that I wish you could see ahead of time what wonders are going to be coming out so that you can kind of plan for those. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. If it's in the game and it causes me to lose, it sucks.
Fair. Fair.
Get good.
Oh, that's also the Tim. Easy. That's also the Tim, because there's nothing that makes Bob hate a game more than me beating him at it. So if I win, it's pretty rough for him. It's pretty rough. All right. Number one worst, most hated mechanic in any game. Follow the beagle.
I was trying to figure out, what do you call that mechanic in Darwin's Journey? Tim's gonna find a way to put it on his freaking list.
I almost brought that up where it was going to be any game that doesn't have a catch-up mechanic, right?
That was my void. That was my void, Bob. A void of a mechanic. I need a catch-up mechanic in longer games, especially
because otherwise you're sitting there for a long time waiting. Like Act of the Empire has one of the best built-in catch-up mechanics in any game I've ever played. But then, yes, you play something like that. And like, Tim, how much would you have enjoyed that if there was some sort of mechanic that would allow you to catch up and actually feel like you have a chance after an hour with an hour left to go? You would have been more involved.
You mean after an hour with 2 hours left to go? But yes, you are correct. If I felt like I was still in it. Here's the thing. Let's take another like really heavy game with a lot of really interesting decisions. Inventions. I felt like there's so many different choices you can do, and it's hard. You're not really like, you're only blocking yourself really like out of locations. You know what I mean? In Inventions, where like in Darwin's Journey, you can get blocked out by other people. You may not have what you need. And then if you don't follow that GD Beagle and stay, with it,
catch up with keep up with it.
You're extra screwed. You're extra screwed. And I have no interest in playing that game enough to find out if you can win without following it. You know what I mean? And
you have to keep up.
Yeah. You
at
have
least
to
a little bit, and only lose a little bit of points. But if you get so far behind where you're losing the double negative on there, then it's so bad.
But yeah, the lack of a catch-up mechanic is pseudo player elimination. Yeah, I mean, I was 100% eliminated from that game 1/3 of the way through it.
Yeah.
And there was no way for me to get back into it. Not even close.
Even if you had caught up with the Beagle, you spent a bunch of actions trying to catch up to it. There was no way to make those points.
I was so far behind in everything else by that point. So all I could try to do was get other points, you know what I mean, in other ways. But then I was losing so many points from being behind the Beagle. I hated it. Absolutely hated it. The game's beautiful, and I understand why people like it. I was miserable playing it, and I hate it. I don't ever want to play it again.
And you should play it one more time, and then just try to keep up this time.
Yeah, no, I mean, I will. I will. I also maybe not play it with Spencer, so maybe it won't have to take 3.5 hours. Maybe it could just take 2.5 hours.
Yeah. That should be a 90 to 120 game.
That game took a long time when we played it.
It did. Well,
I'm dying to play that game again. Really liked that one.
But it made for a really frustrating experience. And I tried my best while at the table to, be engaged, take my turns, and everything, because I don't want to just because my boat was dragging behind, I didn't want to drag everything else, down and behind. And then, Eric, that's such a sweet way to say it too. Maybe try to do better next time.
Get good, Eric.
We just say get good. Just say
get
get good. But yeah, waiting to lose sucks. It's really, really hurts. Oh, the dirt random events for the Hunt and Kingdom Death Monster. Ooh, I don't know. I haven't played enough KDM to know.
Yeah, I think Andrew's tried playing that, and he was saying it just kind of lacked for him too. He's unfortunate.
I thought we enjoyed the first scenario, but then we just never got around to getting it back to the table again. And I think it's one of those things. It's kind of like when you play a game where the first scenario, if you feel so restricted that it's hard to kind of enjoy, or you have to keep in mind that you can enjoy the rest of the game. I mean, it's like Mike with Dungeon Crawlers. It's like, no, you're going to get some really cool stuff in a minute.
Right. First, this is just basic.
Yeah. But anyways, keeping up with the Beagle, following the Beagle was the first thing I thought of. It was my number one this whole time. I love it. Yeah, it's because you're too tall, Eric. By the time it got down here, it sounded like a nice, sweet Midwesterner thing. But once it got into my level of the atmosphere, it sounded nice. It's spoiler alert, Eric's tall. All right. People's Mike.
My number one. Going back to Dungeon Crawlers real quick. We got to preview Rove with West on Tabletop Simulator. I enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty good. I would play that again. I would ask to play that again. I want to play it again. I don't know if we'll get that chance. I'm interested in Vrahode. So, but along the same theme here, my number one is legacy games, because I've never completed a single legacy game. Now, I really want to play Clank Legacy, really bad. That's the one that interests me the most. But I never finished Jaws of the Lion. I thought Pandemic Legacy was boring both times I tried to get through it. I started with one group and I got through 5 months, and I'm like, this is just Pandemic with stickers. And then I played it again and got through 8 months, and I'm like, this is Pandemic with even more stickers. And Jaws of the Lion was pretty decent, but that group didn't want to keep going, and I was kind of like, that's fine. I want to play other stuff anyway. Frosthaven, we barely even scratched the tip of the iceberg's tip.
Did you play Scythe's?
Oh, that is the exception. I loved the Scythe campaign. Thank you. I loved the Scythe campaign. I think that one's great.
I was gonna say, because I know I'm 2/3 of the way, 3/4 of the way through it, and my group fell out. They don't want to play it because I've been winning the past few missions. But like you said, that's irrelevant come end game, and that doesn't matter to them. They don't want to play it anymore. And you said you're willing to step in.
I am.
Yeah, now
I put
irrelevant
the
come end game, doesn't that make it like not worth it? Because it's like, well, what does it matter? Like I've done all this stuff this whole time and now I could just lose. Doesn't that fall into your number one reasons what or mechanics you hate in a game is like, oh, I've done so well and it does me no good by the end, like the last campaign, I can't win.
Oh, I don't know.
But you can bank your stuff and blow it all on that last campaign, and then
Make a
it
comeback.
does.
It's
Yeah,
not like it's something
exactly.
random that happens that you have no
Okay.
control over.
I
Like
mean,
I
totally
can still
fair.
do well throughout these games and do well in the last game and still win.
right.
And it's not like there's like, oh, it's going to flip this card over and oh, that has nothing to do with what I've been working on for the last 6 games and now I'm done.
It's it's a game where you don't want to blow your wad all earlier in the campaign. You want to save things for the last campaign. And so yeah, I mean, there are exceptions, but I don't seek these out. I don't buy them. I don't own a single legacy game. I don't own the Scythe campaign. I played somebody else's. So again, if I look at my collection, I don't own a single dungeon crawler and I don't own a single legacy game. So that's why I made them my number 1 and 2.
Yeah,
So
I've played through quite a few, and some of
I'll
them
still
multiple
play
times.
them. I'll still
Yeah.
play them.
Well,
I
Bob
want to
said,
play
Bob,
Quake
you have a
Legacy.
good like
Group.
regular group that you could show up and
That's
I'm envious of that.
that was part of my problem. And also we just play I just prefer to play different games. I don't
You want
like
to keep playing
playing
the same
this.
game over and over and over again.
I
Be
don't
right
like
back.
playing the same things over and over. That's why one of my honorable mentions, I'll just, since I'm done and so are we might as well get into these. One of mine is CCGs. I don't want to play the same game over and over. I like variety.
Sure.
I like variety in many aspects of life, and gaming is no exception. I don't want to keep playing the same thing over and over.
Well, I mean, my friend Ben, it took us a couple of years to get through Gloomhaven every other weekend, and we finished it. We enjoyed it, but then when it came time to play Descent, we played like 2 missions, and he's like, I think I'd rather just play different games than the same game over and over and over again. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's totally fair. And then I ended up playing that with a different group, and they love it. We've played through Acts 1 and 2, and then we've played through Act 1 again, and now we're on to Act 2 for the second time. And they really enjoy it. So, yeah, I played through Charterstone all the way through. I played through Clank Legacy all the way through. I've played quite a bit. I've got like ISS Vanguard. I've got that. I need to play the tutorial. There's like a 3 to 4 hour tutorial you need to play through to learn the game. But like I've got so much stuff for it. It looks so cool. I really want to get into it. And actually, my Descent group, they showed interest in it. They're like, "Oh, that looks really neat. Do you know how to play it yet?" And I said, "No, not yet." So once I get that learned, I think we're going to jump into that next. So hopefully, I'll be able to get all the way through that one as well. It's my Magic buddies. So they come over all the time. We'll play Magic, but then we get tired of beating up on each other. So like, let's play a cooperative game. So we play something that's cooperative.
Yeah, I think that's the difference. Like if you're like, "Hey Mike, I'm looking to start insert blank legacy. Are you interested?" I'd look into it and I might consider playing it. It's not like I'm like I completely rule those out. What's up, Alan? We'll see you at CuseCon in a couple weeks. You just missed Mike too. He popped in before a meeting because he's cool like that. Yeah, so I mean there are always exceptions because there's very few types of games that I really don't like. It's just that playing the same games over and over fall into the same category, and most of them are dungeon crawlers.
Sure.
I got another, and that's the same thing with CCGs. The cost to continue to play the same game over and over, and I don't like the whole aspect of most money wins. That was one of the things that
Yes and no. It depends on what format
Sure.
you play. It depends on it
Sure.
really does. If you're playing like a Legacy and Magic, then yeah, if you've got the money, you're gonna win. That's what I really enjoy about Commander, because those super expensive cards are all banned. And then for the rest of the stuff is you only need one of a card. You don't have to go get 4 of the same card in order to play. You're only allowed 1 of each card in there. And that really, to me, opens up a lot more, because then you can build fun, like, combo type theme decks and whatnot. Like, it's a good time.
I thought Star Wars Unlimited was all right. It had a lot of similarities to Star Wars Destiny, which is the only CBG, whatever you want to call it, because it was more about the dice than the cards for me. It felt very similar. Some of the mechanics were very similar.
I really enjoyed the mechanisms and the way the game plays the Star Wars Unlimited, because I played Lorcana for a little while, and to me it was too much of a Magic ripoff. But then the Star Wars game comes out, and it definitely changes the way the game flows. The fact that you can sit there and pass, and then somebody else can take a turn, and then you can go again. Like, I really like how you're both in the main action phase at the same time. Yeah, it's really good. I haven't bought any of the new set. I've been broke. I haven't been able to buy any of the cards, but I did really enjoy the gameplay of that. So. Other ones I have honorable mentions. So, like predictor or mind reading games. I don't like that kind of stuff, right? So with zero information. Now, if there's something you're trying to like do deduction and whatnot, that's fine. Or I can give you a clue. Okay, but like we played it earlier. What was it? The Crew or the Gang? What was it called?
The Gang. Well, the gang was really
boring. And then the Mind, right? Boring. Like I don't like it. At least with Wavelength, you've got something to work off of. You got like a topic or something like that. It's not just like like you're not just trying to send friggin' brainwaves to somebody and get them to pick up on what you're putting down. So like I don't care for that kind of stuff.
There is an exception to that rule. There's a game called Medium that I really like.
Medium was interesting.
It's kind of a twist on a party game that we used to play, where before, like with the party game we used to play, you just think of a word and you say it. Where Medium, you've got cards, and so you're gonna read a word off the card. You're gonna basically pick one of the cards, and that's gonna be your word. But like basically, Bob and I we look at each other, and we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. We say a word. Now, if I say cheeseburger and he says Muppet, now we're gonna go, okay, Bob, you and I are gonna try to say the same word. And we've got to meet somewhere between cheeseburger and Muppet. So we go like 1, 2, 3, and I might say
Swedish
Miss
Chef.
Piggy, and you might say Swedish Chef, right? So it's like, okay, Miss Piggy, Swedish Chef. So now we go again. And so with Medium, you've got like X amount of rounds to try to zero in on that before it's done. And then the idea is to get there faster than the other, and the other people.
Sure. I mean, again, like it's more fun, but
it's kind of like the judge mechanic thing. I'm not always playing to win. It's just kind of fun to see what people say. I like what you're trying to do to get there, so.
Another honorable mention of mine was forced AI players. I don't like it. Now, if you want to choose to play with one, that's fine. But like Dune Imperium, if you only have 2 people, you have to use the app to play an AI character. And that AI character is taking random moves. And it's frustrating because it's like they go to a spot you want to go to, and it's like, really? Why do they go there? It's not like they're going there because they need that. They're just randomly putting a guy there, and I don't like that kind of stuff. I don't like random dudes going there and force.
Yeah, it's different when like a market, the end of the market is going to fall off, right? Because it's like, well, if nobody buys that, everything's going to slide over. Then when it's like, well, actually, card A is going away instead, and you're like, what? Like I should have 3 more turns to get that, before it falls off. But it's to simulate somebody else, making bad turns.
But if you have another player, you can kind of deduce what they might be trying to do or work towards. And with an app like that, it's just super random, and you can't account for that.
Oh, the designer is speaking.
Uh-oh.
I agree with you, Eric. I've played Dune Imperium 2-player with and without the AI, and it's just not a good 2-player game. It just isn't.
It just has to be 3 and up. I mean, that's fine.
That's
Put on your big boy pants, find another friend.
Yeah, Catan says 3 to 4 players. So what's wrong with putting 3 to 4 players in there? Not that I'm saying that Catan's a good game, but I'm just saying that, like, it's a thing. It's okay. Your game doesn't play good at 2. It's fine. It's fine. Just put that on the box. Don't force me to play with an AI that's going to make random decisions. At least that's one of the things I appreciated about the Forge's AI, because 1, it's optional, totally optional. You can use it or not if you want to. And then 2, it's got a predetermined set up things it's working towards. You can see that they're trying to work towards a thing. So you can be like, okay, well, I better grab that before they grab it because I know they're trying to work towards armor. I better grab that armor before it has a chance to grab it. So it makes it better.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep. I get you.
that.
Played a lot of 2-player games, and I just don't like the extra fiddliness of having to mess with something. I want to focus on what I'm doing and not running this AI. No matter how easy they are, I still don't like running them.
Mm-hmm.
And Dune Imperium's AI is very easy because an app does it all. You just click a button and you move a couple cubes. It's not bad, but I just don't like it.
Yep.
I got a micro mechanic I'll throw in here real quick as an honorable mention. And I don't know what to call it other than hot potato. And it's anytime there's a card that costs you points when it's sitting in front of you, and then you spend the rest of the game passing it to other people. It's just, I hate that when it's added in games. There's actually a promo called the Cursed Ring and Role Player that I've got, and I never use it. I don't like when there's this card costs you 4 points if it sits in front of you at the end of the game, and then you keep using actions to give it to other people, and then they give it back to you, and they just keep passing it back and forth. Like,
now,
I can't stand that.
I do like it when it's more of like an old maid mechanic where you've got this card in your hand and somebody steals it from you and you're like, but they don't know that they're taking it, right?
Mike,
that's fun.
When it's hidden, that's a little different. But when it's sitting on the table,
when it's in front of you, it sucks.
Target, and you have to spend an action to get rid of it. I can't stand it.
You get no argument from me there.
You like Abyss, do you not?
Yes.
Have you played the expansion?
I don't think we have.
So the expansion adds black pearls. You cannot spend black pearls until all your normal pearls are gone. It's to incentivize you to spend your normal pearls. There is a Kraken. If you have the most black pearls, you get that Kraken until somebody else has more black pearls than you, and then they get that Kraken, and it's negative points at the end of the game. Is that bad?
I don't think I've seen that monster come out yet.
I'm going to say no, because that's like Scoundrels of Skullport with Lords of Waterdeep. You get the skulls because you're taking more powerful actions, but you're getting that negative stuff, and but you can shed the negative stuff. So I don't hate it. I understand what Mike's saying. Mike's thing is different, though. I think
because it's costing you an action to get rid of it.
Because there's no benefit to having the cursed ring in role player.
Correct.
You're just screwed because you got unlucky and you got it. With the black pearls, you can spend them and they're important, they're valuable, but you also want to get rid of them.
Right.
Yeah. It's like I don't mind. I actually don't even mind the forced quest in Lords of Waterdeep. I think that's a very viable and mean strategy. And somebody does that to me, okay, that's fine. Good timing. But when it's just let me plop a card in front of you and that's -4 and all you got to do is get rid of it, like that doesn't, at least like with the forced quest, I probably have some resources where I can turn it in pretty quick anyway if you're going to play it on me in the last round. I'm probably already building up to another quest and I've got the resources to finish it. So it's whatever. But when it's just a card that only counts points, it just seems pointless. There's no other mechanic tied to it other than a card that's worth negative points.
Yeah.
It's too basic. Yeah. I couldn't think of other games that have that, but that was a good example with Abyss. And Lords of Waterdeep kind of has a similar thing with that Abyss monster as well.
But you choose to get those items, and it's sort of that push your luck. To me, that's almost a push your luck kind of thing, where it's like,
you're like, okay, I'm going to take those, but I think I can get rid of them before it becomes too detrimental.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
You guys have any other honorable mentions? I have one more.
Go for it.
A couple,
you may inspire me.
Sure. So my last one is boring tiebreakers. I like boring tiebreakers. I don't remember what game it was, but one of them was like, if there's a tie, first one to grab the first player marker wins. Like,
right.
That seems exciting to me because you're like, I have 52. I have 52. And then it's a scramble to try to grab that first player marker, because that's the tiebreaker. But like, I don't know, just boring tiebreakers are just boring. So make it interesting. That's it. So I thought it was honorable mention. It's not great, but hey.
So by boring, you think it needs to be by some merit you have accomplished in the game and not just some random thing like the person with the longest hair or the shortest hair.
Well, that one wouldn't be so bad.
I'm coming at you with scissors, bro.
Yeah. Like, and I don't mind random stuff like that for like first player. Like what's the loot, right? It says, the person who lives furthest north gets to go first, or the oldest player goes first. But if that's the tiebreaker,
right?
Really?
Sure.
So
yeah, you want it because it's something you did in the game.
I'm never gonna win the tiebreaker,
right?
So
the tiebreaker is like most of these resources, and then so it's like most points and most resources left over, most cards in hand, or fewest cards in hand, right? Like reward you.
Turn, play another round. Don't let it end the tie. Sweet.
But Reed and I would never win a tiebreaker.
Which Reed, so we're coming to Toronto.
Sounds like a threat.
I am looking forward to getting to play that game again.
Rune Beast. That was a lot of fun.
Is Reed going to CuseCon? Reed, are you going to CuseCon?
Yes, he is.
I
remember this. So yeah, Reed, we'll discuss here soon, but we're gonna be in Kitchener Friday the 13th. But then downtown Saturday and Sunday the 14th and 15th. So that's when we'll get a hold of you.
Sounds like a threat still.
I know.
Looking forward to it on your own home turf.
Yeah, I know. Longest hair is the tiebreaker. That's funny.
I'm here for it.
There we go, Nix. There we go.
Wow. Rude. Okay.
On a green player, Matt.
It is. I'm just gonna grab all the tokens. Like, I got it.
I got a couple I'll go over real fast.
Go for it.
I don't always like when a game, and maybe this is one of my things against legacy games, but this sort of spreads it out. I don't always like when a game keeps adding rules as the game goes on. Like I just want to okay, I like that. I've got it in my head. I've got the game learned. Let's just play it. 5 minutes in, draw a card. Oh, a new rule. Okay, go to the book. What's it do? Okay, got it. All right, playing the game. Whoop, new rules. What's it do? I don't know. Go to the book. So no rules being constantly added. Not my favorite.
Oh, give me the plot twist. I want the plot twist. Give them to me.
So Charterstone's a great example of this. But the thing is to make the game easy to start. So as you start taking your turns, you're doing stuff. The game is very simple. Then all of a sudden it's like, oh, now there's like after the game is over, now you're going to add these ally tokens in there. It's a new thing. Here's a little sticker, add it to the rule book. Now you've got this new mechanism in the game that you can do next time. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with that.
I think it's great.
Yeah, to me it's like it makes the entry point easier. You're not buried in rules at the beginning. You're like, here's what you need to know to get going. Start taking turns. And you're like, okay, now that you have a feel for the game, here's something else. Let's make it a little bit better. Oh, okay, that's something new I can do. Sweet. Okay, so I'm going to start doing new stuff. Oh, I have this new ability. I'm going to start using it here. And it's like, okay, now that you got a grasp on that, let's add something else. And it just helps the game, grow without being inundated with rules at the beginning.
Give that to me, especially you think about Mechs vs. Minions. Now I know that's each campaign gets more complex, each mission, but it's so good and it makes that game so much better.
Now I will say with Mechs vs. Minions though, is my problem with that is those new rules are in all those different scenario rule books. There needs to be one compiled book with all the rules in it, because I hate having to have all 5 or 6 friggin' books out trying to find where that rule is explained. That's annoying. That's why I like Charterstone better. I'd rather have it just be a sticker that I add to the main rule book, that I still have all the rules in one spot.
Super smart. Love it.
Yeah.
You found another exception for me. I loved Mechs vs. Minions. I would love to play that entire campaign.
You got to come hang out with the Magic Buddies, dude. They keep asking me to play that game over and over again. So,
I got to get mine back out. I need to play. Yeah, I need to play through the rest of my campaign. I've only gotten to a certain part.
So. Tell me what day we're going to play it.
Yeah.
And then here's one I don't hate it, but there's not a lot of games that do pick up and deliver that I'm in love with. Like,
okay, so pick up and deliver.
It's okay.
It falls on my number 4 with the tile-based small tiles boards that I don't like, but Explorers of the North Sea just pick up and deliver great as long as you don't mind fiddling with those friggin' tiles all the time and keeping them all in line. You're exploring, flipping new tiles. You're putting your little Vikings off the boat onto those areas. You're collecting resources and you're taking them back.
Brandon, I totally agree with you there. That's interesting. Yeah, like okay, Zaya would be an exception. It's got some interesting pick up and deliver because you're shipping tiles for goods and stuff. Acrotiri, which I still need to get Tim to play because it's the the home run design team of Jay Cormier and Sinfung Lim, really old 2-player game. Which is great. It's a really good game. The other one that I kind of liked was I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden. Oh, Century Eastern Wonders. That was the least enjoyed Century game. It was fine. You run you build a hut, you run a conversion, and then you run your cubes over somewhere else to get points. It was.
Have you played Venice, Mike?
Venice was interesting. I do want to play Venice again.
That's like a pick up and deliver type of game.
It definitely is. I think it's just that they're fine. I don't dislike them. There haven't been any where I was like, oh man, I love this game. And it's pick up and deliver. That's why it made my head hurt.
Bobby, was Cargo Empire? Do you remember that game? We played that. It was like a Kickstarter. Pretty sure that was a pick up and deliver game.
Black Fleet is pick up and deliver.
I
love that game.
Yeah, it's good.
Fun. That's been years since I played that one. I forgot about that game.
Yep.
You kept bringing that to Meeple for a while.
I did. I found it because I played it once. I enjoyed it. So then I found a copy on I think the Geek Market with the paint. It was somebody airbrushed the ships and it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
The only problem with me is I can't tell the difference in the colors of the ships. So I need to paint the top of the pole different colors so I can tell them apart. But yeah, no, I really enjoy that game.
That game has really great art and components for what it actually is.
The little ships, they actually put the cubes on the ship as you're carrying them. Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, that's a good one. I forgot about that one. And Wasteland Express is one
I want to play that. I want to play that so bad.
Yeah, I like the theme on that one.
Yeah, it's very, what is that, Borderlands-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Oh, yeah. Definitely a Wasteland game.
Changing topics, I guess. Do you think anybody would be interested? I think this would be really fun to do. If each one of us, the three of us, we each bring a game that we do not like, that we think is busted or sucks. Because I was inspired by Googs when Mike was flipping out about Oregon Trail. We each bring a game that we think sucks to CuseCon. And we just pick a night. Let's just say Friday night at 11 o'clock. We're going to throw those games on the table and we're going to make, how do we make this game fun? Let's make a fun game out of these components. And, I'm not saying I'm going to bring Darwin's Journey and be let's make a fun game out of this.
That might take some time. But to do 3 games could take.
Even if we just did one. But I mean, if we each brought one, then we got a couple to choose
just
from.
Pick one of those to do.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I don't know if
we're going to be at a convention with a bunch of freaking designers and developers. How fun would it be to watch them crack something?
Right.
Just don't bring one of their games.
Hey, this game sucks. Let's make it better.
Oh no.
Hey, can any of you guys fix Canvas Critters?
See, Brandon knows what's up. This is what I'm talking about. Brandon, you're going to be at CuseCon, right?
Oh, Joy was sorry. It's a great rolling move. Tim loves it.
God.
A rolling move. Number 5, baby.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think something like that would be really fun. Let's just take a game. Let's just take a game, crack it, and just try to play. Even if it's not, I guess, even if it's not even a game that you hate, but let's just play a different game with this game. Something it's kind of for example, Mike, the gang with a trader mechanic.
Oh, mine is still at the studio. Somebody needs to snag it.
Man, if only somebody was going there Sunday.
Wait,
it's not. I gave it back to you, didn't I?
I didn't see it at the studio. We just took a bunch of games home from the studio.
I picked it up, but I thought I gave it back to you.
It might have been in. I did have an extra bag still sitting in my car when I got back from Grand Rapids. It might have been in that.
I brought it back for you.
Right.
I didn't want it.
Yeah, so the idea was, of course, the gang is completely co-op poker, and you want to try to play your hands in ascending order after the river. But Tim's idea was basically that one person's a hidden traitor, so they're trying to get the group to play the cards out of order, but the traitor should only win if they aren't caught, because at the end, if the players get it all right, then obviously they win and the traitor loses. And maybe the good players try to guess who the traitor is. Regardless, that's what they should be doing anyway, because that would make the game fun. But if they get it wrong, that's how the traitor wins, only if the other players can't figure out the traitor.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That's because the traitor's got to still get away with it. And maybe that's too hard to do in the gang, but maybe not. Maybe you're just playing with somebody that's bad at poker, right?
Well, I think then is when the higher player counts matter, because as soon as you go to 5 and 6 players, you're going to have 2 traitors.
Yeah.
That would, and you could start adding in maybe some werewolf roles. One's a minion, and they're the one that's obviously trying to wreck the game. But if you catch them, the traitors don't lose. You got to get the real traitor.
Right.
Oh man.
Now hold on. No, Bob likes
and werewolf. I'm out.
No, Bob likes hidden roll though. You like hidden roll. You like hidden traitor.
Yeah.
If there's enough game to prop it up, right?
Yeah.
Unfathomable. There's enough game there to prop it up.
Yeah, we got 4 players. I would love to try that. I think that would be.
That's kind of like my idea, right? We take something like that, make something out of it. Like, what can we do? Like, what's going to make this good for us? What's going to turn this around?
Can we do that, but say it's Mike's idea? Because I don't want Tim to have a good idea.
Oh shit! Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Everybody,
that's a good idea, Mike.
I'm fine with that.
Fix the gang, and then come to find out there's a Cosmos developer there.
Oh no!
We're gonna make this game good.
Well, we're just gonna make it so we like it.
Let's say better. I don't think if I'll go as far as say good.
No, it's a great game. You obviously played it wrong.
That's right. We didn't play it long enough for it to be good. That's what happened.
Right.
We need to dedicate more time to it. You only dedicated 6 hours to playing that game 2 times. No, you should obviously dedicate 10 hours and play it 2 more times, and then maybe you're allowed an opinion on whether you like it or not.
Yeah, if you didn't like it at 6 hours, then you're definitely going to like it at double that.
Good night, Reed.
Good night, Reed. Thank you so much for being here, man. I really can't wait. We'll get to hang out in a couple weeks. It's going to be really exciting. I am so excited because CuseCon, I'm going to get to see all these people, and we will be not near as busy as we were at Origins, Gen Con, any of those kind of things. You know what I mean? I get to play so many games. I'm really looking forward to it. But anyways, yeah, I think that'd be awesome. I do think that whole thing about you can't have an opinion on a game until you've played it, 100 times. Get out of here. Because here's the thing: is so many people will demo a game. How many people demo a game at Gen Con and go, "Nope,
that game's not for me." Yeah.
And then it's like, well, I played this at Gen Con and it sucked, and I played it, and you may, to be fair, you may play it again later and be like, well, I actually liked it, but I didn't like it at Gen Con. But but they are basing their opinion, their experiences, off of the 1 or 2 times that they've been exposed to the game. There have been games, right? Like we played the Great Wall, right? And the first time we're like, whoa, that was rough. This is going to be really hard to review. I don't know. Like none of us liked it. We'll play it again because now we understand it. Maybe it will go better. No, it did not go better, but we tried.
Sat down with Dan and played that captain's chair game, right? David Turksey. I love his games. Star Trek, I'm not a huge fan, but I'm not like anti-Star Trek. I didn't care much for the game. I'm not going to buy it. Now, if somebody else has it, I'm willing to try it again. But like Dan and I sat there for a couple of hours, and it just it didn't. I mean, I didn't get all the inside scoop. Right, I'm not that deep into Star Trek that I know like this ship with this dude, and I'm doing this thing. It's like I don't know all the Klingons that well. Sorry,
sure.
So I mean, but yeah, like with Arcs, like you're saying, like we played it for a couple of hours at Gen Con, then we played it again for a few hours, and it fell flat with us.
Yeah.
All right. Not every game's for everybody.
Well, that's the thing too, right? Is we're all allowed to have our opinions, and
not according to some.
And we can base our opinions on faulty information too,
Sure. But I did my own research though, so I know.
But that's why we explain where we're coming from, so that if we are wrong about, like, well, maybe you didn't consider this or that, and it's like, okay, that's fair. Like I'll look at it again. And I will use The Gang as a really good example. That is a game that is very easy to get back to the table again and put a little bit more time in because it doesn't require a ton of effort. But there's some very super crunchy, heavy games where it's like, I don't know that I want to spend 4 hours playing a game I already don't think I like, versus in that time, I can play 2 to 3 games that I genuinely love or at least I'm excited to try. So that's all. I do think 100%, Bob, you need to bring Beast to CuseCon, and we need to play Beast again.
I'm trying to not bring a ton of games, but I am going to bring Song for War. I'm going to bring Beast, and I'll probably bring 1 or 2 other decent-sized games.
Whoa, you're like, I'm not going to bring a ton of games. I'm just going to bring this one that takes 7 hours.
Well, that's the thing. We don't have to play.
We can play this shorter. We could play the Africa or
other
Italy
maps are much shorter, like 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm very interested in playing it. So if that's the case,
and that will give you a nice feel for what mechanisms are in there, so that given the full 2-board experience that takes a long time to play, you can do a lot of those same things in there. But the big thing about it is like, when you play like an Axis and Allies, you're like, okay, it's Germany's turn. I'm gonna buy my units. I'm gonna declare all of my combat moves. I will do all my rolling to resolve those combats. I'll move to non-combat, move everything around. I will then place my units, gain my money, end of turn. Mm-hmm. This game has a lot of moving pieces. Like you've got the movement phase 1. So basically the faster the unit can move, the more times it's going to activate during a turn. So it's like you've got your fighters. They can move fast, right? They're flying around. They go first. You can move them 4 spaces. So basically you're kind of staging them, getting them where you want them to go. And the next part is the planes, and like all your planes. So I can move all those all over the place. Then you've got
and the fighters again, because they're part of that plane group, right? But you also get to move your light bombers and your heavy bombers.
Yes. And then you have like some of your transports. You can move some of those. And then you've got all your ships, your bigger, slower ships, they move. And then like at the very end, you have like your dudes and your tanks, because they're like the slowest, they're on the ground. But then like every time you activate, so say you fly your bombers into an area or your fighters into an area, and you activate that zone, every time you activate that zone with another unit later on in that round, anything in that zone gets to activate again, because that battle is going. There's a whole like battle row that says, okay, these fight. And so like you can basically trigger something to attack multiple times if you've got it in the right area at the right time. So
because unlike Axis and Allies, you're playing this as 2 teams, right? Mm-hmm. You are always doing something, because the battles are always happening. You're involved in the battles. You know what I mean? There's stuff going on. Oh man, it's really good. It's really engaging. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
The fact that like the board, while big, you can really traverse it with stuff. Like, so you have like air transports, you can fly 3 dudes, 7 spaces. 7 spaces get you so far across this board. Like you can't leave open spots, because all of a sudden, before you know it, somebody's dropping some troops off here, picking them up at the plane, and then driving them, flying them across the water.
I did that. I did that to Bob, and he had a great counter move, but for like a turn, Bob looked so defeated. It was worth it.
Oh, when you took that 9 spot or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then I had those tiger tanks coming in.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, it was so cool though, right? It was like a great punch and then a counter punch. And it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Because if we could have held that, we would have won the game. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like, oh my gosh. It was just wild. So good.
So good.
Yeah. It's so good. I love it. Yeah, excited about that. Now I'm gonna take a couple of things, like hope maybe some things that like we should review, but like but I will try not to bring anything, common.
Right. They're going to have a lot of stuff there. So I'm not going to bring a ton of games, with me.
I'll probably bring a bag of games and then just kind of go from there. Just stuff like specifically that I definitely want to try to play and I've got access to it. Like I will have like Cockroach Poker and Kabanga with me because those don't take up any space. If I still have that copy of Locked Out, I'll bring that because that would be fun to play there.
Right.
But again,
stuff that won't be in the library.
Yeah, tiny little box, and obviously that won't be in the library. But yeah, just some stuff like that. Be super fun. 42 games at least. Oh, Wayne, you're not wrong. Yeah, Bob and I, especially early on, had a reputation of bringing a lot of games to meetups, conventions, things like that. Oh, Nick's. Oh, Mike just left, so we'll miss the Alaska.
Miss the Alaska
joke. But we're here for it.
Mark your bingo card.
It still counts.
Mike
still counts.
Still counts.
But yeah, Bob, I'm sure there's a couple of things that you and I will definitely we'll coordinate some lists and everything. But yeah, I'm hyped for it. I'm very excited. I'm looking forward to just getting to play a bunch of games. There we go. Proceeds to rent a U-Haul for his Cthulhu collection at
nice
CuseCon. Yeah. I wouldn't need a U-Haul to take my 3 trunks. I'm not going to lie. I could spend all weekend. I could spend a whole convention weekend playing through all the different scenario maps that I have for Cthulhu Wars. And would probably have a pretty freaking good time doing it. But yeah, it'd be a lot. It would be a lot. Oh my gosh. I'm getting all these messages about doing trivia at Friday at 6:30.
Oh,
from people that I may or may not have done some trivia stuff with in the past. I'm watching like all these text messages pop up on my phone. And I can't really read it, but this is this was this same group of people when we did that horror movie trivia and we missed one question and beat everybody by, I don't know. Yeah, 40 points.
Is that like at a bar or something? You guys gonna go do that? A restaurant?
Usually the Mishawaka Library downtown.
Oh, okay.
And it's usually
I'm trying to invite myself. I got plans Friday, but I'm just curious.
No. I will start making sure you're in the know of those things though, because they're fun and they're free. Yeah. Like you just go, you come up with a fun team name, and you sit there and you
free fun, free fun.
Yeah, and it's not far for you at all.
Yeah, I could stumble there.
You could. You wouldn't need to, but you could.
It depends. Is it on a Wednesday?
Yeah, right. No doubt. No doubt. Mike.
Yes.
You got anything you want to add or talk about while we're here? We got a little bit of time left before I guess we should call it, but
not specifically.
This has been a super fun episode. We've had tons of interaction. Yeah. We've gotten up over 20 active participants.
Nice.
Donnie came out and booed us. That's always a good one.
That's pretty good.
I can't wait to hang out with Corey and Donnie too. Like really excited to do that.
I picked this up.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. I'm excited to play it. Dan and I played it with the expansion at Gen Con. The expansion just adds more cards. But I did enjoy it, so I'm excited to play that with you guys and have you check it out. I think you'll like it. The premise is, time is passing. You're trying to accumulate knowledge as time goes on, and so you'll like put these cards out on the different eras, and you put these knowledge tokens on there. and then you'll gain techs and take actions to remove those knowledge tokens off there to gain them for points, and then time will pass and they'll move down your board. And eventually, they fall off, and then any knowledge left on them is lost to time. So it's a fun little game. It was relatively cheap for what you get. And then also my Barrage, my 5th player expansion, and my 2-player board, dueling board came in. So yeah,
yes,
Barrage the table again because I really enjoy that game.
That game is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Game is really good. Mike,
I still haven't played Barrage.
Mike, you should bring because you've got the expansion. You should bring your Cubitos to CuseCon.
Book it.
You got it, dude. I want to play again.
Bring your Heat with your Heavy Rain expansion too. We got to play that yet.
Yeah, I think that's mostly what I'll look at bringing as new stuff and like Gen Con stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I played Lure at Grand Con and found that pretty fun. I still need to learn A Message from the Stars.
Mike,
yes.
Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but what did you play at Grand Con? How was Grand Con? We didn't even talk about that, dude.
Grand Con was good. So Friday night I hung out with the guys from BA Games.
Sweet.
Jelly.
Sam and Tony, and I played a prototype that is actually not a Sam design. He is, I believe, signing this game.
Ooh.
And is still trying to figure out a name and all that. And it was pretty good.
Is it designed by people we know?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I know there were some people we know that have
spent a lot of time at the BA booth, and he was gone for a lot of pitches. So
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he told me he's got something he wants me to check out. So I'm wondering if this is the game or not.
Nice. Hey, we will catch you on the flip, man. Thanks for popping in.
It's a really cool con for just playing games. I thought it was kind of funny. I got there, I got my badge, and then of course I immediately bought a Grand Con pin because like duh. And then I walk in, and then the first thing you see is this all play booth. And so I'm there for like 2 minutes and I'm buying an expansion for a game I own, and that was Lure, which I got to play while I was there, and I've played it on BGA already. And it's actually a game about fishing. But what's interesting about it is you've got all these dice behind your screen. Most of them are D6s, and then there's a D4, a D12, and a D20. And you're deciding behind your screen how many dice you're going to commit to rolling. And each fish has different requirements for what you have to roll to catch them. But if you roll the least number of dice, everybody's going to put their fist forward, show how many dice they have in your hand. If you play the least dice, you get to go first. So you get first dibs at the fish. The problem is if you're rolling less dice, it's harder to catch the fish. So there's a really interesting dichotomy there, and the player interaction is really good as you're trying to guess how many dice people are going to play. I've been really enjoying it on BGA. It's a small box. I have an expansion now, so I will definitely be bringing that to CuseCon because that was a Gen Con release. So
yeah,
it was pretty quick and fun. Only takes about like 20 minutes, and it plays up to 5, I believe.
Make
4
sure
or
you're
5.
tagging all play in there.
Well, yeah, I haven't even like taken any pictures of it or anything like that. So, but yeah, that's fun.
Nice. Well,
anything else? Any other things you want to highlight? Did you hang out with the Bettingers at all?
A little bit. I saw them a little bit on Friday. And then so what sucked is, all right, so Saturday I ended up not feeling very well. I had a really bad allergy attack on Saturday. And one thing I feel bad doing and don't like doing is playing people's games where I'm just going and like my nose is just constantly draining.
Yeah.
My sinuses were draining all day Saturday. So I went to the like garage sale thing like to see if I could find some games to buy on the cheap. And then I was like, I got to do something about this. And then so I had to go buy some Benadryl, and that just knocks me out.
Yeah, same.
And so I left pretty early Saturday. I didn't do any gaming Friday night. I actually sat in my hotel and watched the frickin' Notre Dame game Saturday night.
Yeah, baby, bask in the glory.
But then I went back early Sunday and made up for a little bit of lost time.
Well, that's
but
cool, man. I'm sorry that happened, though.
It's not like it sucked, but it wasn't like a total bummer because it was only 2 hours away. It wasn't that expensive of a con. I still was like, you know what? At least I get to watch college football games. So
you know what? There was some really good football going on this weekend, so you did get to see some good stuff.
There was,
and not just my game. So,
yeah, I mean, if I was all the way out in CuseCon and that happened, like I'd be pretty upset about it. But
Right.
That's different. That's different. Yeah.
I kind of don't feel.
Bring some drugs with you so you can fight that off.
Well, I will. Benadryl. I hate Benadryl though, and that's why I don't bring it because it just makes me a zombie.
You know what's funny, Mike, is I'll take like an antihistamine sometimes when I get those really bad allergy attacks, and they make me super sleepy. But if I can take like an hour nap, I might still be like a little spacey when I wake up, but I'm usually like okay. But it's really weird because like I'll take the non-drowsy ones, and they just put me right to sleep. I don't get it. I don't know what's up with my body chemistry that does that. I mean, now Benadryl, 100%, I am sleeping. But even the non-drowsy ones, like I will conk out and have really weird, like vivid dreams from it. We used to call it robo tripping, right? As like, take Robitussin.
That's a MC Chris song.
Yeah. It's a thing.
I'll bring the Benadryl, make sure nothing like that happens when we get all the way out to upstate New York.
Hey, you can snot up my games, Mike. I'll still play with you. That's fine. Just don't eat your boogers at the table and we'll be okay.
Well, I will, and then hopefully we'll play Quacks. So.
Oh my God. Okay. I gotta tell this one story really fast and then we can be done. I'm gonna out my son really quick. The other morning I went over to ask him what he wanted for breakfast, and he's laying on the couch with his iPad. He's like, got a finger in his nose. And I go, hey, bud, what do you want for breakfast? And don't say your boogers because I know you've been eating them. And he just looks at me and goes, how did you know? I was like, it's a good guess, buddy. It's a good guess.
Man, Tim, you are really good at deduction.
I'm so good at Oh my gosh. Kids are crazy, man. Kids are crazy. Funny. No, anyways, we could sign off. This is a good time. This is a good time. This was a great episode. This was a great episode.
Yep. Keep it tight.
Looking forward to next week with having Games That Need More Love with Andy Kim, designer of the Spill. This dude's super friendly. You guys are going to be really impressed, I think,
really nice.
with this guy. And don't be surprised if he's got more stuff coming down the pipe. I'm just calling it now.
Oh, for sure.
And also, speaking of coming down the pipe, man, we have got a really awesome slew of guests coming, and it's only going to get better. Yeah, Alan, man, I can't wait to meet you IRL in person. Sure. It's going to be awesome. Costa Rica, right? I think it's Costa Rica, or is it?
Yep.
CuseCon's going to be amazing. This is going to be awesome. Next week's going to be fun. The following week will be even better because the boys will be live from CuseCon. I will be live from a basement, but we'll still do some fun stuff. And then the following week, Galen games. And then, it's just going to get better and better and better and better. It's going to keep rolling. So, as always, so much fun. Really appreciate you guys. Super fun list. We got to yell.
Thanks for everybody watching. That was awesome.
Get all fired up. I got to cuss at Mike. It was fun.
Great chat. Yeah, that was great.
People loved it. Here's the thing: is I know Mike's a big boy. He's got thick skin. He'll be all right. And we're also like, that's the nice thing about like doing stuff like this with your really good friends is we can yell at each other like that, and it's so cool. It's okay. We'll be fine.
So cool.
We'll be fine. Let's go. Let's go. Oh yeah, right. I remember when Bob broke Aaron's heart by doing that, by talking about game mechanics he doesn't like. Aaron, always a pleasure, dude. Genuinely love you. You're so much fun and such a good dude. Brandon, yeah, can't wait to meet you at CuseCon. It's gonna be super fun. Well, all right, boys. For the board game rundown, I've been Tim.
That was Bob.
That was Mike.
We will see you next time.
We'll see you guys.
Good
next
job,
time.
Stonemeyer. A 7.3 repeating. 3 heating. 3 heating.